The following podcast contains naughty language and ridiculous situations. Listener discretion is advised.
Bombaleo, we apologize for the delay, but the entire crew just came back from a triumphant screening of The Ranger from the Shawna Shea Film Festival. Led off tonight. It was very exciting. So how do we top that? Maybe we're going to discuss two movies. Maybe we're going to have a guest. Maybe we're going to hang out with celebrities and porn stars. The last two things probably won't happen. But, hey, welcome to Trick or Treat Radio.
Welcome all you little zombies. You're listening to Trick or Treat Radio, starring the Deadites.
Welcome to episode 323 of Trick or Treat Radio. Trick or Treat Radio is a phantasmagorical spin kick straight through the heart of pop culture, navigated by the Deadites. The Deadites are the world's greatest electroshock band. We destroy monsters, we drink booze, we win championship belts. We also get a police escort from the Shawna Shea Film Festival to the studio.
Oh, no, they had to be in front of you for the escort. Behind they were chasing.
Oh, were they behind you the entire time?
Yeah.
Nice.
That's not an escort?
No,
You were
I
escorting them, I think.
yeah.
Shit.
Fortunately, I lost
Yeah,
them.
you did a good job of losing him, Harris. Thank you. So we just came from the Shawna Shea Film Festival. We saw The Ranger. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. And then our featured film discussion this week is Can Evrenol's Housewife. So we're going to be discussing that in great detail in just a little bit. And then also we may have a guest drop by in studio, but right now we do have a guest on the line, and we are joined by filmmaker Jimmy Gonzalez, and he'll also be performing at the Trick or Treat Radio Masquerade with us as Cinema Therapy. Welcome to the show, Jimmy.
Hey guys, thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
Awesome, man. It's great having you on here, and really looking forward to checking out what you got in store for Cinema Therapy for the October 12th show. So if you would, maybe just tell the folks a little bit about Cinema Therapy and how this all came to be.
Yes. So basically, I'm a filmmaker and a DJ. I've actually been a DJ most of my life since the early 80s, growing up in Chicago. So I've been, behind the turntables playing everything from, starting off with like hip hop and all that, and then got into house music. Being out of Chicago was a really big thing, electronic dance music, which we call house. And then, through the 90s into the 2000s, I was, doing the whole rave thing. I don't know if you guys ever been to rave parties back in the day.
Yes.
if that was your thing at all.
Raven Shadow bought stock in the glow lights.
Yes.
Glow sticks.
Glow sticks, yeah, that's it.
Yep. So that was my past. Still have a fondness for some of the music, but boy, has it changed. I'm a 48-year-old guy now, and I'm the old guy compared to all these young bucks out there. But anyway, that was my roots was DJing the clubs, playing electronic dance music and stuff. And then, but funny enough, electronic dance music, that was heard in a lot of films. So being a film geek as well, I was pointing out those John Carpenter scores in the 80s, going, that sounds like techno music, this is electronic music before anyone even knew it was dance music, because even like the Halloween theme is a 4/4 beat, which is and believe me, I've heard remixes and different versions of those songs,
right?
Of those themes, I should say, in club music, which was so funny. And I was that only guy, pointing out that that's a sample from a horror film, or no one else knew what the hell I was talking about.
Yeah.
So anyway, long story short, I like I said, I was always a film buff and stuff in those days, especially horror. And then they started releasing all these soundtracks, and all these original scores were being released, and I was like, I'm getting burnt out on this club thing, but I just really love the scores of these films, and started collecting them, and then getting into playing soundtracks. So basically, when I DJ now, I am spinning soundtracks from all genre films, all cult films, everything from spaghetti westerns to crime to black exploitation, and of course giallo and horror. So that's what I'm doing audibly. So to take it to the next step, what cinema therapy is I'm basically making my own videos for each track that I play. So when you're hearing Suspiria, you're also seeing Suspiria, because I'm making my own edit of the film, like pretty much taking the best 5 minutes, mashing them up into a mega mix, if you want to call it, and you would hear it and see it, because it's all synced up through to the screens, and not only is the sound coming out of the speakers, but the visuals are coming out on the screen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yep.
it sounds fucking awesome, man. Like, and is this something that you've done live often? Because I know you have videos up that people can watch online.
Yeah, well, I actually did do it a little bit of part of my my Club World stuff. And, when I used to love playing Halloween parties, because then I would be like, well, I can also do a video set, because now with technology, there's a system, well, there's many of them, but the one I'm using is called Serato.
Yep. And
Serato is basically which you're seeing a lot of these DJs playing in clubs now by having laptops and stuff, and they're basically triggering MP3 files through a control vinyl, which it looks like a record, but you're playing the MP3 file through the needle, which is through the vinyl record.
Yeah.
So you're actually playing the computer file off the record, and so with Serato Video, you can play MP4 files or MOV files, which are basically film or video.
Yeah.
So I was doing. I started doing it in like 2004, 2005, when I was spinning, clubs, electronic dance music clubs and rave parties and all that kind of stuff. But I was also showing the video. And so at that time, I was playing, the latest electronic techno music, electro and all that kind of stuff. But I was taking clips of Euro horror films or like Fulci films. And
nice.
And so like there'd be like, a dance floor filled with club people, ravers, whatever, and they're like seeing these twisted, crazy visuals on the screen, and it was just blowing people's minds. And like, what the hell are these movies? And like I said, I was always that oddball guy, trying to pull horror into the club world.
Yep.
And at the time, it was really kind of odd, but now it's kind of catching up. It's actually the thing now. You're hearing like a lot of the synth wave and electronic music, and John Carpenter's touring now, and you're seeing the visuals as he's playing, and it's kind of happening now. So yeah, I'm starting to take advantage of it and traveling and getting out there as much as I can with it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, at the time that you started this, I imagine there wasn't too many people doing what you were doing. So, that must have kind of blown people's minds there. Like that sounds fucking awesome to me. I mean, just being able to go, you're expecting to see a DJ set, and all of a sudden you see this sort of audio-visual tour de force, and that sounds pretty badass to me.
Yeah. There's people who were doing it, but
sure,
they were doing a lot of they were playing music videos, because there's also a big DJ service, a video service where, DJs are playing videos, but they're playing the actual video of Eminem or, whatever the pop song or hip hop song is. They're playing that music video, but, being also from the filmmaking world, I made my own videos. I was basically making my own music video for a song that never had a music video.
Right.
And even though I might have run into some licensing issues and stuff, I was basically ripping a DVD, taking and editing the clips, and now you're kind of seeing it everywhere on YouTube. If you search, tribute to Hellraiser or something, you'll see, maybe hear like a Marilyn Manson track or something, you'll see clips of Hellraiser.
Yep.
But I like to be a little bit more, I'm a lot more anal retentive on it, and I'm like, I like to match everything to the beat. I'll sync vocals in the track to the film and drop at the right time. And, so it's a lot more work than just taking your favorite clips and layering them anywhere in the track. I actually make a track. I make, you guys are musicians. I mean, you do this stuff. And it's like, I'm actually, making one of my, on the timeline, one of the tracks would be the video track, which is kind of like on sync with the kick drum or whatever.
Right.
It's all synced up to the
nice.
to the music. Yeah.
Oh, that's fucking awesome. And I've seen some of the videos, and I can't wait to see it live. I just feel that that's just going to take it to another level, to just be able to experience it live and hear the bass thumping and see the visuals right in front of you. So, really looking forward to that. I can't wait. And so,
Yeah, me too.
Is there a specific set? Is there like a theme to the set that you're going to be doing at the show coming up during Rock and Shock weekend?
Yeah, that's a great question because that's what I usually like to do. Right now, where I've been kind of practicing some of my new stuff is this club out in LA called Rendezvous, and it's a soundtrack club. They're basically, it's all vinyl, but a lot of guys are playing soundtracks. Everything from 60s and 70s. Specialize in Giallo and Euro horror. I mean, it's basically like it's people like us wet dream. You're hearing the best soundtracks in movies that no one else knows except us. Lucio Fulci stuff and Fabio Frizzi, I should say. It's his music, and you're hearing Goblin and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that was the first club that I kind of tested out my new style of stuff, which, cause like I said before, I was doing a lot more electronic music solely. But I've been playing a lot more synthwave nowadays. And also soundtracks, just straight out, Fabio Frizzi, Goblin stuff. So that would be, I would play that to that crowd because that club out in LA, they love, the Italian stuff. So I was doing a lot more Italian stuff. So I would say my set for the big extravaganza coming up is going to be a little more Halloween themed and also a lot more electro. I know you guys are in electro shock, so I'm going to do a little bit of electro wave, electro horror,
Very cool.
Yeah.
So put it that way. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds great, man. I can't wait. It's gonna be such a fun time seeing it. And obviously, I know you've done a lot of Euro horror. I think you've even done. Do you branch out into other stuff too? Like, didn't you do some Euro crime stuff as well?
I actually
or am I
have.
misremembering?
No. I mean, I have. Like I said, I've done the Euro crime. I've done the blaxploitation, and
Nice.
what I never put together. Like my releases right now, that is my current release out right now is called Video Nasties.
Yeah,
and it's called Forbidden Horrors and Dirty Synth Scores. So basically, the theme of that is all, if you watch a lot of the Video Nasties, a lot of those scores and those at that time was a lot of synth, progressive rock with like synths. So I basically took my favorite 15 or so, I think it's like 14 or 15 in this Blu-ray of my favorite Video Nasties that have some of my favorite scores, and what they all have in common is they're all synth, whether it's electronic or it's rock or it's disco, which you hear in a lot of those films, and it's all synth based. That's the theme, and so that is all Video Nasty. So you're seeing like stuff like Zombie and House by the Cemetery and Anthropophagus, Absurd, Cannibal Holocaust, because the Cannibal Holocaust theme, that Riz Ortolani, this composer, he was using synths, in those days. I mean, just dirty synths over some of those lush, beautiful strings, which you remember in that film. So it's you'll hear like the dirtiest of synths, laid over the dirtiest of films, and that's what the Video Nasties mix is, which I will have available at the show and at Rock and Shock. So,
oh, awesome!
Nice,
sweet.
Yeah. So, but yeah, the ones I've done in the past is like some of my earlier releases I did was called my first one was called The Colors of Darkness, which was all like industrial techno music and hard dark industrial with Argento films and Italian films. It was all the gore scenes and all those movies. And then I did another one called Electro Euro Trash, which was all Giallo films and all like Vampires, Lesbos, and things like that.
Nice.
It's that 70s sleazy Giallo and stuff, Black Gloves and all that. And then the third one I did was really a mashup of all my favorite horror films, The Exorcist and everything, Night of the Living Dead. It was called Halloween for the Head, and that's another one with a lot more electronic music. But like I said, Video Nasties was the first of straight up soundtracks from the film. It's really a change. It's not club friendly. It's more music, soundtrack music friendly. And
Gotcha.
and then to jump into my next one, I'm the Rendezvous guys, which is a collective out of LA. The club is called Rendezvous, but it's also a collective of DJs, or 6 DJs that all are in this crew. They each did 3 tracks each, I believe, and it's like an hour mix. and they turned in the mix, and I said, do whatever you guys have in mind. Musically, the only stipulation is it has to be from a film. So I was thinking, okay, they know me, they know I'm into horror stuff, so maybe I'll get a lot of horror. Well, when they turned in this mix, they had stuff like westerns. They had, spaghetti westerns. They had crime films, blaxploitation. They had, just 70s thrillers. 3 Days of the Condor, things like that.
Oh wow!
And I was like, oh my God, they stumped me.
Yeah.
What am I gonna do? But it actually blew my mind, because when I watched all these films, a lot of them I'd never seen. It just changed everything. So basically, I edited all those films, and it came out really cool. And that's something that's putting the finishing touches on now. And it looks like we're going to do like a December or maybe first of the year release on Blu-ray. And so it's going to be a mashup of all kinds of genres of cult film, I should say. And that's the next project.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. And what is the format that folks, you just mentioned Blu-ray, is that the format that folks can get it on? Do you ever do DVD or digital files, or is it just Blu-ray?
It's the first, everything I've done before has been DVD, and I also upload it to my Vimeo page, which you can find. Everything I'm speaking about is available if you want to see it digitally. But, I like to go all out with the packaging, like the Video Nasties. It's in a clamshell, a VHS clamshell. And it's a Blu-ray, but it looks like a dirty old VHS tape, and that's that theme.
That's amazing.
But the other ones have been DVD. This is my first Blu-ray, just because I think it's kind of more of a standard format, and also the sound quality and picture, of course, is a lot better than DVD.
Of course,
the digital files are on my Vimeo page.
Nice. Okay, so if people want to go check that out, you can just search for Cinema Therapy on Vimeo. Is that what it's under?
It's actually, I'll give it right now. It's vimeo.com/Spacetunes, SPACETOONZ. So Spacetunes is basically my company name, production company name. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's vimeo.com/Spacetunes.
Cool. So I'm there right now. So if folks want to go, vimeo.com/Spacetunes, and you can check out all of Cinema Therapy stuff here. So yeah, it looks awesome. And also it looks, one thing I wanted to ask you about, and just we'll talk about it in a few minutes, but I see that you have some stuff for the Red Man, for like the teaser and some promotional stuff here. So, but yeah. Awesome. Yeah, lots of stuff up on here. So if folks want to check it out, definitely go to vimeo.com/Spacetunes, and that's TOONZ. So give that a look. Right. And if you're going to be in the area for Rock and Shock, if you're anywhere near Massachusetts, you're going to be at the Deadites show for the Trick or Treat Radio Masquerade Extravaganza. Then obviously you can check out Cinema Therapy there, or drop by the booth over at Trick or Treat Radio, because we're going to have Jimmy's going to be hanging out with us at the Trick or Treat Radio booth. So
for sure.
Yeah, if you guys want to buy some stuff from Jimmy, he'll have some stuff available. So I know some folks out there are going to be swinging by, so hopefully you guys bring some extra cash with you. Get some stuff from Jimmy.
Right on.
So yeah, super excited for that, Jimmy. I can't wait to just get a chance to hang out with you in person, and also to see you perform. I'm really looking forward to it. So should be a fantastic time.
Yes, man, looking forward to it.
And so I do want to ask you. You directed a movie a few years back called The Red Man, and just was hoping you could talk a little bit about that, because I know it's available on Amazon. I purchased it on Amazon recently. Unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to watch it. I've had a crazy week, but I did get it on Amazon. So if folks are out there are interested, it's available. So let folks know about The Red Man.
Yes, that's actually Bill from Outside the Cinema is. He was one of the first person to really help me get the word out on a film. Even in production of it, pre-production of it. I think I sent him a trailer, like a teaser trailer, back in the day. But the film came out in 2015. It's the project was basically something that it's a real personal film, because the story is about a DJ that sells his soul to the devil for fame. And
did you do that, Jimmy?
So yes, it's my life story. No, I'm just kidding. But no, it's really as a DJ in the club world, there was a lot more going on than just me getting fed up and going through getting older and what do they call it when you're midlife crisis. Okay?
Yeah, we're all there right now.
So it was just I was totally enthralled by watching horror films, and just it was my therapy, which is hence the name cinema therapy.
Yep.
It was I was just tired of the nightlife, tired of going out, tired of the drug scene, which to be honest with you, and I've partaked a bit, but it's nothing that never went down that road, which a lot of my peers have.
Yeah.
To stay up and to stay relevant in the scene. If you're staying up till 5, 6 in the morning, and beyond, that's what you're doing. Traveling all over the world, and these are a lot of the people I was associated myself with, and it just wasn't what I wanted to do. And I got married, and wanted to have a family and settle down. So to me, settling down was watching horror films. Just just watching movies. And of course, I was like, I'm done with the scene. I'm just, I'm going to hang up the turntables, the headphones, as they say. And, but of course I couldn't do that too long. It's like, it's in me to create. And so, I started to get into composing. So I done some score work and some composing, which I was bringing my musical stuff into my film world. And then that's when I came up with the whole cinema therapy project of doing the DJing stuff, which was mixing the club stuff, and it just never really took off the way I wanted it to. Mm-hmm. And so then I was just like, I have an idea for a film, and I just was getting totally inspired by watching all these films and watching other guys my age and even younger doing it. And now with with digital filmmaking technology, it's like, I can do this, and I just got a lot of confidence, and
Mm-hmm.
I wrote my first script.
Nice.
And I was fortunate enough to get it financed by John Acquaviva, who is my partner on the film. And he, if anyone happens to know of anything in the history of electronic music, John Acquaviva is one of the originators of electronic dance music, based out of Canada, but via Detroit. Plastic Man was a big artist that he was partners with. But anyway, these guys were like, they were the ones doing well in this business, but they've also had more of an underground edge. So he got what I was doing with the films, because he also loved these movies, not like I do, but he understood the art form in it. So when I was writing a film talking about bridging the world between dance music and horror films, and art house especially,
yep,
he really got it. So my script is basically, it's a metaphor of a DJ that sells himself to the devil. There's drugs involved. There's a lot of colors and a lot of it's basically my tribute to Argento and Kubrick.
Nice.
My inspiration, I should say. And it's a thriller. It's more of a horror thriller actually, but I don't want to give the synopsis. I can't even remember. It feels like the movie's so old to me now because I'm trying to move on from it. Yeah. But I mean, that's basically the gist of it, but it's an allegorical horror thriller with a lot of inspiration from Euro horror films. And we got distribution with a company called Quiver, which is, a subsidiary of Sundance. So we're out there everywhere in the world on all the VOD platforms, and also the Blu-rays are available on Amazon. Yep. It's currently available on Amazon Prime, so feel free, everyone who has Prime, go get it.
Yeah.
You've mentioned that you bought it. I don't know if you have Prime, but you didn't have to buy it.
Well, like to support.
Right on. But it's getting a second life now, because there's a company out of Vancouver that is going to distribute it with a special edition package, because they absolutely love it and really believe in it. And
that's great.
Even though I felt it's done its rounds in the festival world in 2015 and 16, it didn't really do what I was hoping it would do.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized, it's a tough business. And, I don't know people. I'm not connected. Not rubbing shoulders with the best of guys until now and meeting you guys. But, maybe things will get better.
Well, I don't know.
I just didn't get the break.
We might just drag your career down.
Yeah,
so.
don't give us too much credit.
Well,
but no, and I hate to say that. It's because it all really comes down to be honest, it's got to be a great film. A lot of people are really saying, oh, you gotta kiss butt with the biggest festivals and know the biggest people. It's like you just have to have a great, spectacular film to stand out these days. And I know I did have a pretty good film. I'm proud of it. We won awards. We won Best Picture at certain festivals around the world. We've been to Ireland, been to Spain, been to New York, with the film. But as far as getting Eli Roth to give me a quote or Stephen King, that didn't happen, and that's the big difference. Of me making another one and moving on by doing one after another, that just hasn't happened. But I'm working on others. I got other scripts in the works.
Awesome, man. Well, I hope that's not the last one that we've seen from you. We do have Marsman is now here in studio.
Here you guys
Yo, what's up?
I couldn't find you guys.
You couldn't find us.
No, you guys don't. You guys weren't.
We're
where you
in the
normally
same
are.
place where we normally are, Mars.
I went to aisle 13 of the Market Basket in Charlton, and you guys weren't there.
Yeah, quit looking for us near the Pop-Tarts.
I
You're the only one who likes the Pop-Tarts.
You're looking for the store brand.
Yeah,
still?
they just didn't have any either. I was just going to every Market Basket to prove to you that there aren't generic Pop-Tarts. But I was looking for you guys. I couldn't find. What are we doing tonight?
We're talking to fucking Jimmy, man.
Jimmy's on the phone right now.
Jimmy's here.
This is going to be a good show.
Wait a minute. Is there really a Market Basket out there? I thought that was a Hollison thing.
No, they're real.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
they're real.
I gotta go there.
I was gonna say you're gonna have to stop in at one.
Yep. And they are pronounced Market Basket.
Right.
Yeah,
that's
how you
funny.
do it.
That's funny. That's cool.
That's Market Basket.
I'm so
Market.
Market Basket.
Market Basket.
Ma-
Jimmy, we're gonna go to the
There is
Market
no
Basket.
H. There is no H in that word.
Listen,
Market basket.
MAHMET. Market.
Mommet?
Yeah, Market Basket. Man,
Market.
I'm so glad that Jimmy's on the phone. We just saw an awesome movie.
Market.
I held hands with Mike Neal, another filmmaker, the whole time. I went back to get my ticket validated before I went to Market Basket. That horny old waitress asked about Aries.
ooh.
Oh, we'll talk about it later.
Okay, well, I'm just saying.
What
Don't worry.
did you guys see? What did you guys see tonight?
The Ranger, it was awesome. I told the waitress you had died, Aries, so don't worry.
Yeah, we saw we went to the Shawna Shea Film Festival and caught the Ranger, which
Yes.
it's got distribution. I don't know if they've actually announced with whom yet. So I guess I can look it up and find out if they've announced it. But yeah, we'll be talking about it a little bit.
It's gonna be a good time.
It was fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good time. You'll like it.
That's one that has the buzz, like I was saying.
Yeah.
That has the buzz. I can't wait to see it. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely got some good buzz and definitely warranted, I think.
Yeah.
So people should go out there and check out the Red Man because it is available, like Jimmy said. You can check it out on Amazon Prime. If you really dig it, then go ahead and you purchase it. Or it sounds like you can probably just wait for a special super duper edition eventually soon.
Yeah, I'm gonna get one and get it autographed.
Nice.
I got some. I'll have some also at the show. I mean, it is on Blu-ray currently, but like I said, the
Nice.
special edition come out. It's going to have a lot of special features and a lot of cool stuff. So yeah, looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's gonna be a great time. So, Jimmy, is there anywhere people can find you on social media? I don't know if you want feel free to give that stuff out. Let people know where they can find you.
Yeah, for sure. I do most of my stuff for cinema therapy and music and film stuff on Instagram. So that's at
Cool.
Spacetunes, and that's SPACETOONZ. I always have to spell it because it's it's not tunes. Everyone thinks it's TUNES, but
Right.
tunes is TOONZ.
Yep.
Which is like cartoons, Space Tunes. And also, I'm sorry. So Instagram and then Twitter is mainly where I do a lot of my loud mouthing. So
Nice.
So everyone go out there, follow Jimmy on on social media, and also go to vimeo.com/spacetunes. You can check out some of her stuff there, and then
Right.
if hopefully a lot of you guys are going to be in the area next weekend on October 12th, 13th, and 14th. And obviously you can catch Cinema Therapy live at the Trick or Treat Radio Masquerade Extravaganza. It's going to be a great time. And then later, the rest of that weekend, Jimmy's going to be hanging out with us at the Trick or Treat Radio table. And
I can't wait.
let me see, I think we got our booth number. Let me just try to see if I can find it real
nice.
quick.
So
we are Go ahead, Mars.
Well, I had a really nice chat with Jimmy early in the week, and I can guarantee he is much cooler than everybody else I'm going to get to hang out with at the table. So
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Well, he's definitely not going to fuck up my dinner like you did, and he's never going to turn me down, and he knows how to say words. So it's me.
Damn.
And he's never going to give you up.
Yeah, he's never going to give me
He's
up.
never going to let you down.
No, he's never gonna pass out from laughing at his own joke. It's me and Jimmy.
Oh,
at
come on. You
FTW.
always wanted a guy who passes out laughing at his own stupid jokes.
You didn't say anything negative about me.
Well, I have nothing negative to say about you.
Ass kiss.
Why do I have to kiss his ass?
Because you can shut
That's
your
what
mic
we're
off.
trying to figure out.
Well, here's the thing. If he, even though he wants to most days, if he hasn't turned me down or got rid of me in the last 20 years, he's not gonna. We're like
That's probably true.
we're like
No, man,
broadcast
I was-
married.
I was telling him, man, and you know this, Mars. I was saying you guys are just like such a cool clique of guys, and you guys have a lot of history, and I can't wait to hang out. And I just envy your camaraderie and your crew. So I'm sure it's going to be great. It's just Mars speaks highly of you, and you guys do the same, and it's going to be great. Oh, and
He must
and
have been
also Bill-
drunk.
Bill
Yeah,
likes-
yeah. It's been a long 20 years, Jimmy. I'll be honest with you.
He was
Am I
talking to
hearing this
Johnny.
right? Am I hearing this right? That Bill's hosting. You're getting
Yeah.
that guy in a mic in front of everybody.
It's true.
Yeah.
Oh God.
And I don't know if he told you this, but their booth is going to be directly next to ours the whole weekend.
Oh, is that good or bad?
I don't know.
Nobody knows.
We'll find out at the end of the weekend.
Second year in a row with like Siamese twins.
Yeah, if you like to see me and Bill lip sync to
That's not all you're going to do with your lips.
it's true. To 2000s era goth punk bands, then you're in luck because that's pretty much all that happened last time.
Oh, and then Raven Shadow and Bill got the lockdown of the late 80s hair metal.
Yeah, that's true.
They got the connection, the Down Boys.
Yeah, it's true.
I love that every year we have the pretense that Raven Shadow's going to be there and sober. He was just gonna-
Every year he's there more and more.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. In about 20
Yeah.
years, he'll be there for 15 minutes.
He's there more and more drunk and drunk.
Yeah.
No, I've gotten soberer.
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 Right.
Yeah.
He doesn't speak.
You even made Aries
He doesn't
laugh.
speak good English like me and you.
Market basket.
Market basket.
You know what? You're traveling a long way to see a grown man not be able to do basic math at the end of the night dinner. So it should be, just so you know.
Really? You're going to throw stones at him for that one?
Yeah, that's a
I
good
could do
point.
11 plus 11, sir.
No. It was 22 divided by 2.
It's
Well,
fucking
that's
hard, right,
11 plus
Jimmy? It's fucking hard, right? You hear that camaraderie right now? It's fucking great.
And you've thrown a receipt at me for much more difficult math than that.
Well,
I can't figure this out.
I'm just being
Yeah,
generous because I have like a 75-cent soda on the bill and there's 22 whiskeys. I don't know how to.
I had one of those removed because I didn't have
true.
that many.
All right, so I did find out we are going to be at booth number 515. That's
Best booth.
I think we're more towards the middle now. I don't know. I think last year we were in the 200. So we're
They didn't move you guys to the basement. Things are good.
that is, well, we'll find out when we get
It's
there,
early.
Jimmy.
Yeah. We don't- that's just a number. It doesn't say where it is.
Yeah, yeah.
We're the Milton of the group.
It's true.
Right, exactly.
Also, one other exciting little tidbit that we can talk about that we have is now official is that we will be doing a live podcast at the Q&A area that they have. They have a panel area, and we're going to be doing it Saturday from 3 to 5 p.m.
That's awesome.
So,
Wow.
so we're going to be.
Is this your first time, guys? Is this your first time you guys actually did a podcast from that show or no?
From that show, yeah.
from that show? Yeah,
In front of other people, yeah.
we've recorded at our own booth,
Yeah.
but this is the first time that we've.
So you
So
can
get
actually
it
like
booked.
grab. You could just like grab some of the celebrities and pull them over the table. Kind of
Well,
thing?
I actually got in trouble for that last year. So
That's the way to go.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
let go of me. Come on, Candyman.
Great candy, man.
Don't
I believe I had Shawnee Smith hiding from me in the back a couple of years ago.
that's great. Saw 2.
And it's too bad that who's your celebrity girlfriend, Mars? I can't remember. May, I can't remember. her name.
Angela
Angela
Bettis. Yeah, too bad
Yeah.
she's not going to be there this year.
She's there in my heart.
Every year.
So it should be a lot of fun. So we will be doing a live podcast at Rock and Shock, at the panel area from 3 to 5 on Saturday. So if you guys are planning on being there, definitely make your plans to come hang out with us there. I don't know. We don't know all the logistics yet, so I don't know if we're going to be recording it. If there's a board that we can go off of, then maybe we will. And I don't know if we can do a live broadcast. If we can, maybe we'll do that as well. So there's still some things to be determined. I don't want to promise anything yet until we sort of get there and figure it out. But there's possibility that we could record it and or stream it. So we'll find out when we get there, though. So.
Right on.
So.
Well, all I know is I can't wait, guys. It's what can I expect weather-wise? Because I'm right now sitting in 80-degree weather and.
Same.
Yeah, about the same.
No. Don't lie to Jimmy.
Yeah.
No, for reference right now, it's about what?
It's low 60s right now.
It's 60 degrees out right now. It probably
no little jacket, little sweatshirt, something like that.
Yeah, bring a sweatshirt, bring a thermal. Yeah, I got thermals out there, right?
Yeah.
Thermal.
I got a. If they told you I had a cardigan and a scarf on right now, they'd be lying.
You have a cardigan and a scarf on right now, Mark.
I see you've been rocking that scarf, man. Looking good. Nice job, man.
Oh, I got all sorts of scars.
Nice.
It's what happens when you have a scar in your neck. You can see light through.
Just be careful, Jimmy. He walks around the house in just a scarf,
It's
so
true.
I know you're going to be staying with him.
Yeah.
So,
Shit, Jimmy.
It's like
Wait a minute.
It's like
Wait, I thought I had a room at Hilton.
it's true.
The Mars Hilton.
Yeah,
yeah, the Mars
Shows
Hilton.
off.
The Mars Hilton.
I actually just got in trouble because we just finished clearing out the other guest room, so
It's still better than Trump Tower, though.
it's true.
Yeah.
There'd be a choice, and my special lady friend just yelled at me for jumping on the bed, so the bed's comfy.
Right on.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So it's going to be a blast, Jimmy. I cannot wait to get a chance to meet
true.
with you and hang out with you, man, and also to see Cinema Therapy. That's I'm so excited to see you perform live. So it's going to be a great time, and we really appreciate you just hopping on for a little bit. I'm super excited to hang out with you, man.
It should be good. I can't wait.
All right,
I
bud.
cannot wait, man. I cannot wait. And thank you for coming out. This show actually isn't our. This show is taking place in our 25th anniversary of being the Deadites. So
It's true.
Huge.
Yeah.
It's
and
huge.
the year of our 5th anniversary of Trick or Treat Radio. Is that right?
No, we're 6.
Six,
We're
six,
over
yeah.
6.
Yeah, six and some change. So this is a big milestone year for the show. So
Yes.
it should be fun.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for letting me be a part of it, man.
Yeah, absolutely, Jim. I can't wait, man. And I appreciate you coming on and just joining us, letting folks know more about Cinema Therapy and about The Red Man. So everyone out there, go check out Cinema Therapy and go watch The Red Man on Amazon Prime. Consider buying it as well if you really dig it. And Jimmy Gonzalez of Cinema Therapy, awesome having you on, man. Can't wait to hang, and we'll catch you in about a week and a half.
All right, guys. Take care. Thank you so much.
You
Bye,
too,
man.
Jimmy. Take care,
Right.
bud.
Thank you, my brother. This is awesome. I
Oh, shit.
Oh,
I
nice.
feel like a jerk.
That was really
he's not
nice.
I cut him off.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I cut him off.
Damn it.
What the hell's your
We're
problem?
sorry, Jimmy, man.
Itchy trigger
You know-
finger.
Yeah. He's gonna hate us now. Thanks a lot, asshole.
Nice fucking show.
I just what's I realized
producer.
why are all cool electronic musicians and DJs we know named Jim?
I'm sorry. There are cool electronic musicians.
Oh wow, look at that.
But Tiny's name isn't Jim.
Yeah, well he's a genius, but there's not much cool about him.
Yeah, he is not a cool individual.
Me and Aries legitimately saw him emerge from the darkness the other night when we were working on the maze with like a fucking headlamp on, holding robot witches. Like couldn't be less cool. He looks like he now without the beard he looks like the grandpa from Lost Boys.
Wow. From Last Boys?
You look more like the grandpa from Lost Boys.
Father Time. You should stop slinging.
Wow.
Father time.
Yeah.
Why does Aries get shit for being like old when he's not even the oldest one in this fucking room?
Inside
There's
he's
two-
old.
I'm in the middle of the road in this
There's
room.
2 more
Yeah,
people older than him.
I don't know about that.
I do.
No, I don't know. Listen,
You're
Think
older
about
than
it.
him.
Yeah.
Who looks older, me or Aries?
It doesn't matter who looks older. It's who is older.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's fucking you, MZ.
And,
Well,
and
you're
I'm not,
older.
I look older?
No, you are older.
Oh,
You are
I am
older.
and I'm not the one who's exhausted from bowling.
10 years
that's right,
ago.
Wait, we
motherfucker,
have
I'm
a
gonna
lot.
bring
We
that
have a
up.
lot to
Yeah,
talk about.
He's
here.
exhausted from bowling 10 years ago.
A lot to unpack.
And listen, by the way, what you said is mean. You're confused. There is only one person here older. I know he looks like it, but he's not twins. That's terrible. He's just one man.
Yeah, stop looking at my ass.
Yeah.
What?
I don't know.
Holy crap. Okay.
That's fucking weird.
Yeah,
So
you
I-
do look the oldest. I feel bad about that, though. Can I give you some fun of my youth?
I don't care what I look like.
I can tell. But at the end of the day, I just want you to live forever. And I was
probably got the-
worried the other day.
so I can fix your shit for the rest of my life.
No, so you can give me a back. Oh, shut up, Mr. Fucker. Could you come plug in my Blu-ray player? I had to show up, make the fucking entertainment center, put the TV, and build a ceiling fan.
I built a ceiling. My dad built a ceiling fan. but
Sexy
he's a lady.
Speakeasy was like in fucking boxes when I got there. I thought I was going to find the lost Ark of the Covenant. Yeah, help my shit. At least I have fucking hard plumbing to do. It's not how to get into my email.
I don't think I said that.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything.
Or you laughed. Listen,
Yeah, it sounded just
I'd
like
rather
that.
be able to know how to plumb than to email.
it's true. Well, I can take care of both of us because I don't know how to plumb, but I can email all day. Listen, I do not think you're old. You look
You're the
old.
one who started this shit.
No, I'm just saying you look old. I think you're very young. MZ is old. He got bit by a mosquito. Somebody took it, built a park, and retro-engineered
I don't think
dinosaurs.
Aries looks old.
Yeah, no.
Well, I don't know. I mean, he might have a turkey neck
got
going
a-
underneath
He's
that
got
old,
a
old man
little
beard.
gray in his beard.
A little gray in his beard?
Well, it's
Yeah.
not as bad. It's not as great as mine.
I'm starting to get some gray in mine.
No, you shut up.
I
You have a
am.
baby face.
Please, you got just for men all over you right now.
No, he does not.
That's
Look,
this
do you see
motherfucker
this?
right here.
I know. Why do you think that? I don't have just for men. That's why it's my natural color.
Just for
No,
men
look,
all
just
over
for
you.
men, take off the toupee so we can all see.
What the fuck? My Italian biological makeup is
Who
enhanced
wants
by
to
Earth's yellow
bet?
sun.
Hey, who wants to bet Aries has
Who's
got
not
like a
gonna go right
90-year-old
now? You might
man
wanna get
turkey
that.
neck?
I
going
don't
on?
know.
Hey,
Hey!
wow, we weren't
was the
expecting
show.
you that soon.
Okay,
I wasn't expecting at all. I was terrified.
Someone get him a chair.
Yeah.
Get him a chair.
Hey, get your ass over here.
Get him a chair, MZ. You asshole.
Sit down and shut up.
Here, give him this one. Give him this
Somebody
one.
sit in the microphone. Shut up.
Nice cardigan.
Not as nice as yours.
Yeah, it matches your scarf.
You want a scarf? I got one in the car.
This is exciting.
So we are now the surprise guest that I mentioned earlier that might drop by has dropped by, and that would be the man of the hour, Skip Shea.
Skip.
Thank you.
Who looks older around here?
That's shit.
Get over it. Hey, if it makes you feel better.
You know,
I'm the one wearing a cardigan.
Well, to
Wanna
be
be
fair,
The man to your right is too.
did Skip get sidetracked because he went to Market Basket in Charlton first?
No,
You thought
he
that's
actually
where the
had
show was?
he actually had a film festival.
It
to
was
run.
fucking awesome. I'm sorry I had to run so fast.
No, you guys had to get here.
These scarfs don't scarf themselves.
So Skip is now joining us, and this is a no better time right now to just jump right in and start talking about the Shawna Shea Film Festival and the Ranger. So first of all, Skip, thank you for putting on such an awesome event. And so tonight it kicked off, and I'm sorry, what this is the seventh or ninth? Okay, seventh annual Shawna Shea Film Festival, and we kicked the night off with the biggest film that has ever been at the film festival, as you stated earlier. And that would be The Ranger from director Jen Wexler. So, Skip, I guess just talk real quick about the festival this year, and you know, and also The Ranger. And we'll talk about it a little bit.
Well, this is again our 7th year. We started off 7 years ago, like one block of shorts in Millbury,
nice.
at the Elm, and now we're 4 nights in 3 locations. We have about 69 films. From all over the world, and we had the Ranger. It's great for us. I mean, we had the Ranger tonight, and on Saturday we have Luigi Cozzi's The Little Wizard of Oz.
Yep.
Both of them are at Sitges right now. You know, the largest horror festival in Europe, and they're here.
That's awesome.
You know, and we have them. So we're kind of. We're just unbelievably grateful for the support that we get from, in particular, the people, the folks in the genre world. They really support us in our mission, and we're really grateful for that.
Yeah, and it was a great so tonight you're going to be having the festival is going to be at different venues, but tonight it was at the Bolt Mansion in Worcester, which was sort of an interesting venue for it, but it's really cool.
Yeah, it was neat.
So we were at the Bolt Mansion and we got a chance to check out the Ranger. This was my second time seeing it, and I know you've seen it before, Skip, as well, because I saw you at Buff right after the screening. So we got to see it, I believe, in March at the Boston Underground Film Festival. Yep. And so this was my second time. I'm glad I got another chance to see it, though, because I'd been wanting to check it out again, and especially we're going to be talking a little bit about it. We're not going to do a review because people listening out there obviously wouldn't have seen it, so I don't want to give too much away. We'll do more of sort of a preview of it just to get you guys hopefully excited for it when it does come out, because I think this is a film that people are going to definitely want to seek out, because I mean, I haven't taken the temperature of all the hosts, but I think now that you say that, I definitely don't want to take the temperature.
You're the producer, Johnny.
Yeah, I'm not producing fucking temperatures. Let me say, I haven't polled the hosts.
Whoa! Don't poll anybody.
So I don't know what everyone thinks of it, but it did get a round of applause when the film ended, and obviously, my second time seeing it, I really enjoyed it. So. What did you guys think? Let's get some impressions. Marsman?
I enjoyed it. I liked that it did a thing that a lot of movies we watched this year did, but it didn't cram it down our throat. This was obviously a film that happened in a different time.
Yeah.
And I really, really enjoyed that. You may have missed that. Like, they didn't really make it super intrusive. I like the gore. I just watched, and there's something to be said for simplicity. I just watched a film that was made for a lot more money this week called Hellfest, which certainly by any stretch of the imagination wasn't a bad film, but sometimes you try to invent the wheel so much you lose a little bit of functionality. And this one managed to do something different while keeping the things that make the tropes of by keeping the KY jelly, if you will, that makes slasher movies move so smoothly.
Yep.
It didn't at any point make me think like, well, why aren't there cameras here? Or why aren't there, like how's nobody see, you know what I mean? Everything made sense.
Yep.
They set, the best slasher movies, in my opinion, do one of two things. They do the Agatha Christie thing, or they just very eloquently set all their ducks up in a row and then fucking knock them down. Mm-hmm. And the best ones, knock them down and kind of, make you feel a little sympathy for the people that are getting knocked down. In this one, it was a fun little ugly movie because I wanted almost everyone to die in it. Right. And I didn't really have a horse in the race. So it was just it was a little fucking pit fight of a movie, and I really, really liked it. And it had a weird fucking thing. It did that like almost like I can't think of another film that did it, but it did that. It did like the psychological thriller type thing of having a scene that made like all of a sudden in the middle of it like made perfect sense in the context of the film, but it made you feel really uncomfortable, and it kind of set the table for the last era, like the last few terse and tense minutes of the film. I really enjoyed it. This was a fun movie.
Yeah, for sure. And real quick, I'll read the synopsis so people have sort of just an idea of what it's about. But teen punks on the run from the cops and hiding out in the woods come up against the local authority, an unhinged park ranger with an axe to grind. And I would say that's probably a very good synopsis. Yeah. It's excellently stated, and it's a good way to put it. And this is really like it's sort of a punk rock slasher in a way, I guess. And it's a fun movie, and there's also, I don't want to get too deep into the themes of it because I just don't want to give too much away about this movie, but there's certainly some strong themes that are played upon here. Sure. And in terms of nature and sort of the authority, and it was some really cool things. And there's a great performance from Jeremy Holm, who plays the ranger.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, he was cool.
he played it perfectly because it's there's some kind of tight ropes that line between comedy and sort of he has this code that he abides by, and I just thought he walked that line very well.
And he was never charming, right? Like you felt like though he was like putting like being quippy, he wasn't like. It wasn't like Freddy or Wishmaster. You know what I mean? Like he was like.
No, he was more serious and more dark, but you can understand the slight comedic side of it.
Oh, wait a
too.
second!
Well, he was serious.
Yes, he
no
was.
What he was saying,
thought he was.
Yeah, what he was saying was like he was like it's almost as if like Adam West Batman was a slasher.
Right.
Like
That's
like
a fucking movie.
Like he's like he's oh wait a second, I got a text here. Oh, Skip is going to be here in 15 minutes. Yeah, the
Get a chair.
I know. I shouldn't have been so surprised. I thought Raven Shadow's mom was coming and yelling at us.
Knock it off.
One time that happened.
Yeah, but
Don't embarrass me in front of Skip.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a really good point, actually, Wolfie. You say smart things about movies.
Once in a while.
We should start a podcast.
But yeah, I think it was a really, and also Chloe Levine, who plays Chelsea as the star, I thought was really, really good. And
I liked
Yeah.
her. Yeah.
she had a lot of range in this as well, and,
Yeah.
and I think she walked that tightrope really well as well. And she actually was in a movie that we reviewed last year in The Transfiguration.
Yeah.
You remember the vampire movie Transfiguration?
I
Raven
do.
Shadow, do you remember that one?
I remember we did it, but I don't remember at all.
He didn't watch
Of course
it.
I did
not.
watch it, but I don't.
Yeah,
I
of
don't.
course.
I,
Figure it. Was I
don't know.
here?
I might
I
have-
don't remember it
Yes.
either.
I
Holy
might have been under
shit.
the influence.
It was the kid.
But
It was kind
Oh,
of like
no,
a
I
little bit
liked-
like Martin.
Oh yeah. He was the film fan.
Oh,
He had
I
all the
really- I
vampire
liked that
tapes.
movie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I did
yeah.
like that. I did
I like that. Not obviously. I liked it.
Yeah.
I remembered it. It stuck with
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
She's great.
No,
But yeah,
is
she
awesome.
was real good in that as well. So
She managed to do, you know what terrified me, and I just saw this child the other day, so like it maybe was driven home, but the small version of that character is the spitting image of Kevin Barbery's daughter.
Really?
Yeah, so like it's like I actually like was like took back because like at my job she ran up to me and I was like, hi, small 11-year-old who I have no idea who you are, who's hugging me in the middle of the mall.
Security.
Yeah. It was like I was like stranger danger. But like yeah, like so like that was like that made for me like a little more emotional resonance because
You have emotional resonance?
huh?
I don't know.
emotional resonance. is that what you
Yeah.
said?
That's I said it wrong then right, and then Raven Shadow said something that I felt was probably funny, but I didn't hear it. It's hard. All I hear is air conditioner now. I'm in a weird wind tunnel where I am.
Well, you
Yeah,
could
you're
put
the
headphones.
furthest away from it.
I don't know what the
You
fucking
could put
problem
your,
is.
you could put your
Put
headphones on and hear
yeah,
everyone.
Put your earphones on.
Yeah, but then I will hear you guys better.
Then quit complaining.
Oh, sorry, man. The older he gets, the cranker he gets.
So let me just real quick in the chat room. Creepy Girl says MZ definitely looks the youngest.
She is so drunk right now. I know it's your birthday, creepy girl. Happy birthday, babe. There you go, Monster Zero.
Babe.
That's what he
I
said.
figured out. I figured out why she wants to go on a date with MZ so bad.
Why is that?
It'd be like a double date. And then they go home, it'd be like a threesome.
Would it be a foursome?
Oh, I don't know.
How about a 5-some or a 6-some?
I don't know. I don't think you're that big. Don't mean me.
So in the chat room, I haven't had a chance to acknowledge, but we got FTM, we got Evil Corny,
Nice.
we got Creepy Girl. I saw Serana in there
you go.
earlier.
Hey.
Oh, there she is. She says, if Aries is the oldest, in parentheses, then he can call all the shots from now on.
Oh,
Yeah, he does
No,
all the shots.
all he does is drink the
smart
shots.
young lady.
FTM says, I don't have any gray. It's hyper blonde. All right, there you go.
Yeah.
And first time Mike also says, hey, Skip, how you doing?
Hey.
So catching up on the chat room. He's doing well. Yeah.
Why are you talking to me? I don't know who you are.
Now, Skip does much more work than I do to put this film festival on than anything. But when I saw Skip tonight, especially after the show, he had a very familiar face on, and in his eyes, he was like, as I'm saying right now, where I'm just waiting for October 15th. I can tell that, that Skip
Sunday
has,
will be a wonderful day.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's great while it's going on, but it'll be nice to wake up and not have any responsibility for at least a day, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
How soon again do you start again?
I will literally on Sunday. We'll start to call for submissions again.
Oh wow.
Nice.
So there is no rest for the wicked.
No.
So let's go around. We got some interpretations. Obviously, Skip, I'm guessing you like the movie if you booked it, but do you have anything else to add?
Well, if anything else to add is more would probably be about Jen.
Yeah.
Because this is her first film that she's directed. But she produced Darling, which I loved.
Awesome movie.
She produced My Most Beautiful Island, which I loved. I mean, she's really.
Oh yeah. I've heard a lot of good things.
Oh, it's great. You guys should see that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great movie. It's obviously it's glass-eyed pics, so Larry's in all of them.
Yes,
as
Uncle
he was
Larry.
in
Hey,
this
there's
too.
no such thing as too much Larry Fessenden.
But so she had a track record anyway, and then when I saw this, I talked with her afterwards at Buff, and then started this process then, because I really, really, really wanted to show this. That's how much I liked it.
Yeah, that's awesome. So as soon as the curtain closed, you began courting the film, basically. Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing.
No, this was a really good flick, and it just harkened back to the old slashes of the '80s, and the gore was great. The musical cues were really on point. Some of them were quite jarring, in fact, and it definitely works to its benefit. Good performances all around, especially from the titular character, and. This is a pretty solid slasher.
Yeah,
there's no doubt about it. And I'm not saying that because you're here. I'm saying because it's the truth. It's check it out. It's worth watching.
And MZ has definitely seen his fair share of slashers, and it's funny. It's not your typical slasher.
No.
Like it sort of is unassuming, and then like takes a turn, and then does sort of go into slasher territory. And when it does, there's definitely some things you'd expect. There's some good gore and some good effects, and I just love I won't say too much about it, but I loved the slasher's code, like how he had sort of his own little code that he abided by. I thought
which
that was
full of codes.
Yeah, which was actually was full of codes. Absolutely.
Well, I mean, I wish the description didn't have the Ranger named in it, because I felt like it was obvious as the movie was going on, and felt like that could have been a nice little twist if it went another way.
Yeah,
I know what you mean.
Like I was like, this is too obvious. There's going to be something else happening.
Yeah. So it's, it definitely it plays with that sort of theme about being it does come down to being a slasher, but it doesn't have all the normal trappings that you'd expect from a slasher, where like someone dies in the first few minutes, and you can't necessily predict the
hierarchy. Or
yeah,
how it
exactly.
goes.
Yeah.
I mean, I had no idea about this. I watched this totally blind. Never saw anything about it. I just took it in for the first time, like a ranger. Maybe he's a military guy. I don't know. Maybe he's having adventures. I didn't know what it was about. But I mean, kind of like I equate it to like a Green Room meets Maniac Cop.
Yeah.
In a weird way.
Okay.
And I think it had a plausible reason for the characters to get where they had to go. Mm-hmm. It totally made sense for why they did that. Mm-hmm. And even added some new element to the relationship dynamics amongst the characters too, which is unusual in a slasher.
Yep.
It's fair to say.
Yep.
But no, I definitely winced at times.
They also didn't.
They
didn't make light of it, and they didn't like make a big deal of it. It just was. It was It was
just normal. That was how they were, and I kind of like caught certain things, and then when it was like kind of revealed, so to speak, oh, that makes sense, and it didn't impact my viewing. The second thing about the movie I probably most recognized was the way MZ would just was giddy like a schoolgirl whenever Larry Fessenden came
Yeah,
on.
it's crazy.
Like he didn't know he was in the movie. You know, the way you would giggle whenever Larry would be on.
Oh, yeah.
It'd be a picture of him. It'd be like,
I wish he was my uncle.
yeah.
Yeah, hey,
He's awesome. Come on, give me a break.
you guys, I want to kind of spring this on you. I thought I had the feeling Raven Shadow might say this, so I didn't want to take his stride, but I felt like, and not to be too on the nose, you know what I mean? Because there aren't a lot of punk rock horror movies, so like, you know, Raven Shadow mentioned one, I'm going to mention the other, but I felt like these kids were almost if like someone really knew these kids and then wrote Return of the Living Dead and like, oh, I'm gonna fucking make a movie about my asshole friends. Like these were the real life versions of those fucking kids.
Well, see,
You know?
I felt these punk rockers were a little too stereotypical. I mean, you had the one in the leather jacket, the one in the army jacket, the one in the animal print, and the one in the plaid.
That's how your punk band looked in this era.
Yeah, exactly. It was stereotypical. I don't know.
So how do you
Aries,
not
Aries.
stereotype a punk
Yes.
Well,
group of punk kids?
And also, what do all slashers do? But by the way, point the mic at your mouth.
Ooh.
There you go.
It's kind of lost in all that
The
fur.
real mic
but
or the fake
do you
mic?
know.
Both. But you know, I think that I don't know. I mean, you know more about punk than I do, so you know I was the metal guy. But you know, I think that's just sort of I don't know. I think it's just having the representing sort of all the different variations of it.
I mean,
you
it
know?
just seemed like they was trying a little too hard, and I mean, it didn't go, you know, oh, this is it. That the movie's awful because of this. It just seemed like one little thing that caught my eye. There were a lot of little things about this movie. I'm not gonna sit here and say this movie was the best thing I've ever seen. There were a lot of little things that bothered me about this movie, mainly because you know you're dealing with punk rock, my youth. You're dealing with Rangers, my midlife. The only thing this was short was some bearded guy in a chainsaw showing up at the end. I mean, this. I can pick apart this movie because this movie
His
was
wedding.
my early years.
And it's funny. I think Aries was starting to get pissed at us, but
Well, you know what? Every
During the-
5 minutes, someone was just staring at me.
Do you know those codes?
because that's fucking you, Aries.
Yeah. Leave it like you find it. Love it
Exactly,
like you
yeah.
mean it. What was it? What's the one? How does it go?
Drop it like it's hot.
Jump it like it's hot. Yeah.
No, he said it was
Jump back,
only
kiss myself.
take pictures, only leave footprints,
Footprints.
and only kill time, or something like that.
Yeah.
It's nice.
It's profound, right?
Yeah. Do you guys get together and like say that around a fire with your shirts off?
And do like whoa Bundy at the
Yeah.
end, like do like a hands in,
He's a
and
ranger.
then you go range.
Go
You're afraid right now, aren't
Rangers.
you?
Yeah, what's it?
You're afraid right now, aren't
I'm a
you?
little bit. Well, Skip's here. Stick around, Skip.
He's a ranger. Leave
You
him
what we call in the
alone.
business a witness.
He's a ranger.
Yeah. Range of danger.
I mean, I
Do
don't
you get
know.
to
Like,
carry a gun, Aries?
What? You
That
got
was
something to
10
say to
years
me?
ago. 10 years.
well, how do you know things haven't changed in the last
10 years.
Like I
years?
said. My midlife.
All right, so you're a ranger. So
in the
be proud
40s,
of
you
it.
were a ranger.
Take it easy there,
Okay.
Yogi.
oh shit. It's nice.
Listen,
Can we step outside? I want to introduce you to the curb out there.
wow.
Hey.
You would have thought that somebody just stole Larry's picnic basket.
If I knew
not
you
good.
meant that, you wouldn't be saying that to him right now.
Huh? Leave Skip alone. It's bad enough he got forced to be in a
Skip,
picture
I
with
forgot you
us.
were here. No, I was pointing at him.
Yeah.
We have a few more people in the chat room. Creepy Girl just says, "Oh my God, I love Most Beautiful Island." So there's another
Well, thank you.
vote in favor of it. We have Alicia's hanging out. She says,
Nice.
"Hello, boys. Y'all look so handsome tonight."
Bambaleo.
Apparently, she hasn't seen everyone on the camera.
I am.
She needs
I am
to
around the
adjust her,
corner.
tracking, I think.
And Tim Chuma's hanging out. He says, "Where's Mars?"
I'm right here, baby. You just can't see me.
Wave your hand, Mars.
That's the best way to keep you on camera.
There you
true.
go.
There we go.
I don't see anybody complaining, including me.
Tim's complaining.
Yeah, well, he's a man of wealth and taste. Even though he lives in the fucking nightmare death realm of Australia. What is he doing up right now? What time is it?
Well, it's actually like morning for him.
Oh,
right
this
now.
is like a
reasonable
morning
hour.
or early
That's
afternoon.
true. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. How is he staying still this long without fucking having to wrestle snakes? And shit?
Well, I'm sure there's no snakes in his house.
I don't know about that.
We saw some of.
I had a snake in my house last week, and I live in Massachusetts.
I got a snake, man.
Well, actually, theoretically, Jimmy, don't listen. I still might have a snake in my house. I saw it, and then I went to go get something to pick it up, and it was gone. So
Yeah, I'm sure he left.
it's fine.
Yeah.
Well, I have a whole part of my house that we had water damage, and I ran out of money in areas before I could finish walls. So there's one wall that's actually just a series of doors piled. That's why you can't close the bathroom door downstairs, because the thing that was binding them together fell apart, and they'll fall and crush you.
No.
But it's just a bunch of doors and stuff. And then if you move that, you can go out and walk under the deck.
That's fun.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a good time. So sometimes I get like critters.
It's good.
Tim says it is 12:46 p.m.
Oh, so it's not even morning.
No,
12:46 p.m. It's afternoon. And Evil Corny says Mars should change places with MZ.
Why?
Maybe he doesn't want to look at you. I don't know.
Maybe he wants Mars to get hurt.
I don't need Corny's help for that.
It's exciting.
Come on, Corey.
I was
what
on
the hell?
me and Corny did a podcast appearance together.
Oh, yeah?
We did the From the Can podcast.
All of us.
proper, and we talked about current events, and it was a good time. And Corey interviewed me about a lot of my endeavors, and I talked about the stuff we had going on, and we talked about Bill Cosby, and we talked about a lot of stuff. It was a good time. It was nice to talk to humans about human people stuff for a little while.
Oh.
Real people doing real things.
Yeah, exactly. Real people talking about real things.
Yeah, that's nice.
All right. So, has everyone gotten their thoughts about the Ranger? Aries, did you say all you needed to say?
I think that I said all that's needed to be said.
Okay.
Treat.
Well, we're not giving a trick or treat. We may do a formal review of it at some point, but definitely, I would say, I mean, at least my opinion is go see this movie when it's available.
No.
Check out The Ranger. I think a lot of people are gonna dig it. It definitely is. It's got elements of a slasher, but it's also like different. It does something that I feel is sort of new and fresh. So.
I actually have a question
Exciting and
from my special lady friend for Skip that she asked me, like I fucking know shit about stuff on the way home. Like, Skip, how important to you, like even though, you picked it on the quality of the film, to have like this to kick off with a female filmmaker's first directorial feature?
Well, that was actually, and I didn't know that it was her first directorial film when I talked to her. But it's part of, it's the Shawna Shea Film Festival. So it's part of the mission is to promote women in the arts and of the larger foundation. Mm-hmm. So that was a major factor when the Jen directed this. And then when I found out it was the first one, that was even more important to me than to get it here, which really wasn't difficult because I'm friendly with them. So we started working on it right away.
Now, Skip, I can't find it. I'm looking on the website, and you may know because you definitely have some more insight. Do you know if they've released who is going to be distributing, or if it's going to be distributed in North America? Do you know? If you don't know, you don't have to say. But
Or you do know and can't say.
yeah.
Yes.
Because I'm just looking for a press release or something, and I don't see it, so I don't want to talk much about it. But
it will be coming out though.
yeah, so it sounds like it has distribution. That's what I had heard, anyways. So yeah. So it should be coming out soon. I don't we obviously don't have a date, but definitely keep an eye out for it. And I'm sure you could follow Jen. Jen is on Twitter if you want to follow Jen Wexler, or I don't know if there's a proper The Ranger Twitter, but you can look for
There
that
is
as well.
actually.
Okay, cool. So you can also look for that. And when it is available, I'm sure you'll find out from one of those channels, or if we find out, we'll also mention it as well. But definitely a film to keep an eye out for, and maybe we will do a proper discussion when it is available.
I'd if the distributor by any stretch of imagination stumbles upon this, I would sacrifice someone to get a commentary for this film, because as I was watching it, there were so many choices.
You would sacrifice someone?
Yeah. Rhymes with Lonstolero. But there were a lot of choices in this that were like confounding in a good way, in my opinion, and it made me like, I love being like, and we'll talk about a movie that might have done it the wrong way in a little while, but I love being subtly, I love being challenged by movies but not slapped in the face. You know what I mean? Like, because if you, again, people are gonna make fun of me because it's been added to the Raid and Drive. But if you slap me in the face, it better be Mandy. So when I look up again, like I'm like, I'm just as captivated. And this one like did some things where like, some like, cool transitional editorial stuff that they built into the drug use and stuff like that I really loved. That was reminiscent of old Corman, drug films and stuff like that. So I really, really enjoyed seeing that stuff because, you never... it's charming to see... It's not... That sounds condescending. It's awesome to see the classics, done by a new generation of people. Like that they, either came upon these techniques on their own or are referential to other low-budget films. So I'd be excited to hear a comment. And also, like, just how many first-time filmmakers do you get that, unless you're like Rob Zombie, say, you don't always have such a great buzz around your first film. I forget his name all the time, but he made Murder Party and Blue Ruin and...
Oh, Jeremy Saulnier.
Yeah, like...
His new movie just hit Netflix.
Wow, I can't wait. But I mean, Murder Party isn't even out on Blu-ray. It's just like it's on digital and you get a DVD of it. But like, and I don't know what's on there. But like, point being, a lot of great filmmakers' first film, they tend to escape more than being released. So it would be awesome to hear like, what goes into making your first film.
Yeah, his new flick, Hold the Dark. I've seen some people talking about it on social media.
If he came out with a movie this year, like I wouldn't even be able to contain myself with how many of these guys are, coming out with movies that. And
the script was actually written by Macon Blair, who
really
he starred in Blue Ruin. He was also in Green Room for
he was cool. I actually loved him in Green Room.
Yeah.
I like it's just we're living in a real cool time where
it's crazy. Like this just like all of a sudden just drops on Netflix. I knew it was coming out, but I just that's the only thing I really have an issue with Netflix is I never know when stuff's dropping. Like
what dropped on Netflix?
Hold the Dark.
It's on Netflix?
Saulnier, Jeremy Saulnier's new flick.
Can we do that? Can we go back in time and make some changes for some things that happened last night at 11 p.m. But like, yeah, there are a lot of great like. I know this is going to sound trite, but there are just so many great directors right now, like that. Every couple of years, we're going to have a year like this where it's like, I can't believe that we got this, and this in the same year. You know,
this is shaping up to be a pretty good year.
Yeah, I'll agree. Like at the beginning of the year, I was a little rocky, but we're pretty much like, as far as like working directors who aren't family to me anyway. We're pretty much like one reffing away from having like this like crazy grouping of directors that I'm always excited to see what they do. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, as of right now, this is rivaling what, 2015?
What was the year with Turbo Kid and?
I think it was 2015.
I think it was 2015. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good year.
Yeah, it's so far. I mean, especially lately, it seems like we've had
the past month and a half has been
which is kind
good.
of usually the reverse of what happens. Like,
yeah.
Like, so little inside baseball, we make our top 13 every year, and because I'm very old and forget things, I have to like kind of keep a running tally. And around this time, I usually get to the point where I'm like, this is starting to look like a top 7. And then, then I start relying on, we do the December Cram Jam, and I'm like, man, we're watching so many movies, something has to be awesome. And, inevitably we end up seeing some good stuff. But, I don't think it's any secret what's holding the number one place for me right now. I think the only thing that's funny about it is the number one film, the number two film was the number one film for like 1 week, so.
Although in a couple weeks, Mars.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna do the Sumner movie too, right?
And you're gonna have a new number one.
Mars.
You motherfuckers at that end of the table keep saying that, but it happened one time.
Yeah, it only happened. It happened in consecutive weeks.
Yeah, it just happened to be.
And don't blame these other two motherfuckers. It's all me.
I saw a movie. It was my favorite movie of the year, and then we watched Mandy. It's one of my favorite movies ever. So like. It's not my fault. I didn't make the schedule.
Mars, in a couple weeks, we're doing The Apostle. That's Gareth Evans' new movie.
Good old giraffe.
We have a couple of new people in the chat room. One being Derek Rook, and he says, Skip!
Hey.
And we also have Riku.
Nice.
And we also have 11. 11's an old friend.
Oh, we haven't heard from 11 in a long time.
That's true. We haven't.
I don't remember.
He says, MZ, do you need a cup? You need your vitamin C.
Yeah, back when you were 6.
I'm good.
It's probably did you fall off your diet or just
No.
Is that for the drug test?
Yeah, that looks more like a piss sample.
Yeah.
It's a lot of piss.
It's a lot of piss, yeah.
he drinks a lot of it.
Yeah, maybe I should let it breathe first. Huh?
Gotta see his balls, Skip. It's fucking.
Jesus Christ! What are you doing,
Damn it, man?
What?
Can we leave my balls out of this, please?
We're trying to, man, but they keep so fucking huge.
When we return, we'll be talking to.
Believe me, the struggle is real.
Award-winning, world-renowned actor and producer and filmmaker Skip Shea on the super classy asshole hour.
Before we wrap up this segment, though, Skip, I would be remiss if we didn't ask: is there any new information or news about your upcoming work? I know with Seeds and anything else that. Obviously, we had you on fairly recently, so I don't know if there are any updates, but I figured we'd, got to at least ask.
Sure. Here's some real inside baseball. Seeds, I went to Montreal to Fantasia and the Frontiers Market. And a sales agent took a look at some of the stuff from Seeds and gave me some really good notes, which means there's some more shooting to be done. But with the more shooting to be done, I now have Kip Weeks in it, who's going to have a fairly substantial role.
Yeah.
And we're going to be shooting that in like 2 weeks.
Awesome.
Oh, that's amazing.
And then it should go right into post after that.
Very cool.
And I have a couple of people holding on to my script. The old Milltown.
Yep.
Once I can say, they're people that are very familiar.
Nice.
And then I had this really interesting conversation with a producer in Belgium. And if I shoot in Belgium and use all Belgium crew and stay there and use all their post-production facilities through government funds, rebates, tax incentives, they can guarantee a 60% return on the investment.
Wow.
But I have to stay there.
Right.
But it's Belgium. Like, who cares?
I know.
Okay.
Yeah, what's the drawback?
Right.
Skip, do you need an assistant?
So, yes.
Do you need someone to clean your shoes?
So I'm putting together the executive summary and all the real fun stuff for that.
Wow.
So I can start raising funds and maybe shoot in Belgium.
That's awesome.
Oh,
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah. Why do I get the feeling that Skip goes to Belgium and has a fucking awesome time? I go to Belgium and it's fucking Frontiers. Oh, she's pretty. Oh, no!
I hear they have good waffles there, Mars.
Oh.
I do like waffles.
Well, that's exciting, Skip. I can't wait to see what comes of that, and obviously I'm really excited to see Seeds when it is finished, and hopefully that works out. That would be amazing if you could. Obviously, we'd miss you, but it'd be awesome if you were able to go shoot in Belgium. That'd be great.
But you can come home, right? You don't have to live there forever. Oh yeah,
he's an indentured servant.
I think my wife would want me back. I'm not sure. If she's watching right now, maybe not. I don't know.
We found out tonight how much my special lady friend loves me because the waitress decided because I'm diabetic she didn't want to give me any more soda, and Kim was just like, just fucking do it.
Keep them coming.
What'd you say? She give him a few more because I'm gonna have to listen to this all night.
Yeah, she's like, just let them make the noise stop.
Yeah. So we had, I guess we gotta, before we head to a break then, I guess we'll talk about this real quick. So, before we went to go see the Ranger, we stopped off at an Uno's, the one that's right next to, where Rock and Shock is held. So
Which I've had one good experience at in the last couple of years, and it was with Skip. Yes.
So we went there, and she was a hot shit, right?
She's sassy.
Waitress. She was sassy.
Cool.
Yeah, she was
was
cool.
I was a little in love with her.
Yeah, she was like a
I think she was in love with Aries, though.
Yeah, well, whatever.
We should have said his name was Logan.
She legitimate asked. I wish my girlfriend got so mad at me. My answer, because for a second she was like the waitress. She goes, "Hey." She goes, "Hey, we went back to get our parking validated." And she goes, "Hey, where's the old timer?" And I went, "He didn't make it." And we had a long walk, and he turned to dust.
Wow.
That's nice talk, huh?
But she denied Mars. He drank Mountain Dew, and then as we were just talking, it came out that he's partially diabetic.
Yeah, but by the way, my plan says that I have 3 rotating nights at weekends where I'm not.
Your plan?
Yeah,
You're not diabetic?
Yeah,
I want to see that in writing.
You got to sign up for a good plan.
So anyways, once she found out, she's like, "What are you doing? I'm going to take that Mountain Dew away from you." She's like, "You can't have another one." And Mars was getting a little whiny.
She immediately brought him water.
Yeah, she brought you water. Yeah,
he's like a drunk at a bar. Don't tell me I don't have enough.
She shut
You weren't
you
even
off.
there, fucking squashy.
No, I wasn't there.
But oddly
were
enough,
having
he has it right.
What did you have for dinner, MZ?
Spaghetti and meatballs.
From a can?
Not spaghetti squash?
No, not spaghetti squash. Spaghetti and meatballs. Homemade.
I find it ironic that your special lady friend always makes you dinner when you're supposed to hang out with us. What do you do on fucking nights when you stay home? Do you have to fucking just TV dinner?
No.
Hungry man?
So did she
Can you
hand
cook
make
for
the
yourself?
meatballs? Because
Can I cook for myself?
Yeah.
I
No.
can.
No. He would
If I'm allowed to.
He would cook.
You're allowed?
He would cook himself.
what exactly was special about this? Because the pasta is boiling water.
Right.
Did she
Well, she puts some work and time into making this stuff,
into what?
That's called spit.
You put the faucet on.
You put the pasta on. You boil the water.
Yeah.
Put the pasta
I mean,
in.
did the
Yep.
pasta come from a box?
You open the door, get on the floor.
A homemade sauce?
What was special about this?
Did she hold
Yeah,
the
what was
meat?
special?
Well, I'm curious because I was going to buy you dinner. I was going to buy
Yeah,
you dinner
he
tonight.
was. And he wasn't going to even ask you to put out.
You hurt my feeling.
And my special lady friend was super disappointed that she didn't get to see you.
Well, she got to see
And
me
then once
later.
she saw you, she was super disappointed.
She is never disappointed to see me, dude.
You don't think so?
She's ecstatic to see me.
Right.
She loves me.
FTM says, I had zucchini romanesco at Noodles and Company, Johnny. Delicious.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't like that restaurant. Let's not go to that restaurant anymore.
That restaurant's fine.
My food was fucking terrible.
Where did you guys
Again.
go?
What did you get?
I got chicken parmesan. It was bad.
You got chicken parm?
I did. It was bad.
Shika, y'all. Shika, yeah. Shika, yeah.
It was
What?
bad. Was
Why was it
the
bad?
fact that you got pasta with your chicken palm the bad part? Because that really threw the waitress off.
Yeah. Can I have the chicken parm, but without the pasta?
Well, what's ironic is she was giving me a hard time about what I ate, and when I went to a restaurant I love in our town here, I got chicken parm, and I asked if I could, I'd like to have the chicken. I'm going to indulge in the, because, I have been eating a lot better and stuff. I'd like to indulge in the red sauce, but can I not have pasta? And they brought me, I had, what did I have? The long things, asparagus.
The long thing.
Yeah.
You've been hanging around Raven Shadow too
Yeah,
long.
vegetables a long way. There
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah, no, I had asparagus. It was fucking delicious. So, I didn't think it was that outrageous. She reminded me of the woman that before Kim's dad passed away, he found out that at the Stop and Shop at the bottom of the street, and I don't know why this was so fucking good, for $1.99 you could buy a half a pie, right, at Stop and Shop. For $2.99 you could buy a whole fucking pie. But he was elated, like, oh, I got half a pie. Like, and he thought that made it okay to eat it. So one day he sends me into like a different store. He goes, see if they have a half a pie. I'm like, this is a Market Basket. I don't know if they have like, just go do it. And everybody who knows him remembers that like the only way to do it would be, he's like Aries, you have to do what he says or he's gonna fucking hit you. So I went in and like there's one nice little old lady there. I'm like, excuse me, ma'am, do you have half pies? And you would have thought that I fucking pulled this woman's arm in like a slot machine thing where her eyes went. And she's like, Marjorie, come out here. Yeah. This kid wants half a pie. Like our waitress was so like, you can't eat bad food. You can't have so many carbs. You can't have this. I'm like, can I not have pasta? What? Like I didn't understand it at all.
Well, I mean, granted, it's not in the name, but pasta's kind of half of that dish. So you're ordering a dish and you want, like, leave half of it home. Like, Monster Zero had spaghetti and meatballs, but fuck the meatballs. Yeah. It's half the dish.
Well, they serve, like, hamburgers without buns sometimes, right?
I don't think that this is so fucking, I don't think this is, I mean, there's some shit I do that's off the reservation. I'll admit it. I left my fucking okay-paying corporate job to sell antique G.I. Joes all day for not nearly as much money. Like, I get that I don't do stuff that normal people do, but I don't think that this is one of those fucking weird things. Like, I sleep 5 hours a week. I watch a ton of Japanese wrestling. I read comic books in the dark with a little pen light. But fucking this not wanting carbs is not the crazy thing that I do. But Aries and the waitress are like,
okay,
oh my God.
You don't want carbs? Then why did you fucking order pizza skins?
I was
He was trying to limit the amount of carbs.
You lost your argument.
No,
shut up.
It's not true. I was having my carbs with the pizza skins.
Yeah. How about put the chicken on top of the pizza skins?
Ooh.
Cover that in sauce. That'd be outrageous.
And aren't the pizza skins more whack now than they used to be?
They weren't as
Those
good as
shit
they
used
were.
to be delicious. We're going to fucking Uno's. You can watch our ass walk right by you when we go to the 99. I just cut a promo on that.
Yep. You get the real size entrees for $10.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna get, right? Yeah. Be a
World's
grown-up.
dopest tag team
See,
at Rocket Shock this year.
I'm gonna get the fried chicken with the supreme sauce.
I'm gonna be with
fine,
all
as long as
three
you
of
don't
my
get the
tag
table.
teams at Rocket Shock this year. My local ones. It's gonna be me and Aries and Raymond Shadow. Are gonna be there all day on fucking Saturday. World's dopest tag team in Aries. And then me and Tiny and Aries are going to be there all day Sunday.
See?
It's going to be a good time. Signing
What, at
things.
99s?
Yep. We're not going to go to Rocket Shock at all.
You're going to sign it at Pub 99?
Yeah, we're going to go 99. It's not only a restaurant, it's Monster Zero's bowling score. Oh, wait. Can you even get all the way to 100 in that little kid bowling you do?
I almost went pro, dude.
He got a 300, all right?
You almost were porn. You almost went pro.
Yeah. So how close were you to doing porn versus how close were you to being a pro
This is a
bowler?
good
I was
question.
much closer to being a pro bowler than I was going into porn.
What was your score? What was your average?
Well, the average to get into to become a pro is 112, which is surprisingly
Seems low.
low.
Yeah.
Which is surprisingly low, when I think about it. And my average is about a 114.
That's good.
At the time when I stopped. We would have single games and triples. Single game score and final score after 3 games. My high score ever was 170. My high triple was a 404. It's the only time I ever hit a 404. Ever any time that
You've
I
never
ever hit
bowled
a
a perfect game.
It's nearly impossible, dude. The closest that it's ever come to, I think, is like 230 or something like that.
230?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's
So
ridiculous.
I was on a team. I'll have to ask them both about this.
You're talking a different bowling.
Yeah, well, I'm talking adult bowling. I was on a team with, ironically, the two of the Deadites bass players at different time, Ethan McGloofovitz and Mo Raz.
Skip doesn't
And
want to hear this shit.
both of them had a fucking incredible game. Like it was just fucking strike after strike after strike. Mo Raz fell off a little bit, but like Maglufovitz came so close to getting a perfect game. I don't remember what happened, but like it was like fucking crazy.
He had multiple times where he came close to a perfect.
Yeah, he was maybe the best bowler. I mean, I got good by the end of the year. Like I had a very good average for like the rest of the league, but I was fucking fourth on that team by like a long shot. You would think that I knew the people that set up the league and we loaded it that way, but that's just not the case. But it was let's do a bowling. Let's go bowling. Why don't we
Field
have
trip?
a Trick or Treat Radio bowling? So we'll do
We're doing adult bowling, as you say, or
no, we can't. I can't be seen at one of those
Little
little
balls?
kid. Yeah, I might as well go play ring toss. I'll pull out my big giant, my two balls.
Whoa.
I got the Monza Zero size 16 pounder, which is just like as I called it, Dr. Destruction.
Oh.
And then I got the little 13 pounder that was like for finesse.
You throw one in each gutter.
It happened a lot.
Did you carry them around in a case? What was that character in Mystery Men? Was that Jeannie Garofalo's character?
Her
dad's dead.
The bowler.
His skull.
Yeah. I only had one bowling bag,
Huge
so
me.
the 16 pounder lived in the bowling bag because it was my. Actually, this will be the last thing I'll say about bowling. This is an incredible story.
This is
So
terrible.
my grandfather, maybe Aries might have met him, but like my grandfather was like a fucking wild dude. He was in the Merchant Marines, and he had all these crazy stories. And at his wake, there was a story. As you go in, like there's all this stuff with his family, and then there's a picture of him, 3 guys in a truck in a vault, all chained up in a hole in the wall. So I was like, "What's going on?" No, I don't want to know. But he comes up to me and goes like, "I've heard you've been bowling." I'm like, "Yeah, I've been bowling a lot. I'm part of this bowling league. So I want you to have this. This is my bowling ball. It means a lot to me. Thank you so much." And my pop never cursed. You guys, most of you met my pop.
Right.
Never, he's just like a real straight-laced dude. Real fun musician, but he was just like real proper. And my grandfather gets in his car, drives fucking away. Like, just as he did, like, just backs out, just drives down my street backwards like he would. And it's just quiet in my house since my aunt and my dad. And I'm like, is this supposed to be one of your bowling balls? Did I just get some of yours? My dad goes, he never fucking bowled. He goes, he just stole somebody's bowling ball and just gave it to you. And I had it. That was the 16 pounder. So
16 pounds. Ooh. 16 pounds of balls.
it was tough for me too because I have small child hands.
You do.
Soft child hands, yeah. So.
All right. So before we wrap up, actually, I know that people listening to this, if they're nearby, we're not giving them a lot of time to get out to the film festival. But Skip, what are some of the other films that will be playing at the film festival?
Well, we have the Survival of the Film Freaks.
Yeah, that's on. So that'll be on Saturday. Yeah.
That's got a couple of handsome guys in that.
I think that
Yeah, Jimmy and Bill. Oh no, Bill's not in it. Yeah.
we have the same thing on Saturday. We have at 2:30. We have the horror block.
Yep.
Which a lot of local filmmakers are part of that. Prior to that is Luigi Cozzi's. All of that takes place at Starlight. Mm-hmm. Then again on Saturday we have at the Art Center at 1 o'clock we have the experimental block. We actually have a full block of experimental shorts, which I've been trying really hard to get for the last 3 or 4 years. I've been trying to get people who make experimental films to submit.
Yeah.
And we finally have a full block of it, including the person who made our fellowship award winner. She made an experimental film. She actually made a piece that she would love to eventually get into a museum that loops. So that's actually probably my favorite block of the whole thing because these are just really strange, weird films, and I just love that type of stuff. Tomorrow we have at 7 o'clock we have The Graveyard Gang, which is this really raunchy, profane comedy made by a guy from Fitchburg.
Nice.
Feature length. It's really good. I'm excited about that. We also have a documentary tomorrow night at the Art Center, which is about it's called Just Do It Man, and it's about an integrated jazz club in Providence in the 50s. like someone like Louis Armstrong would go to this club and they'd play for a week or so, and a lot of times this whole band couldn't come with them, and then just there'd be some white guys there, and it'd say, get up here and play with me, and they're like, we can't play with you because you're so great. But so the bands there were actually one of the first integrated jazz bands in a club in the country, and it happened to be in Providence.
Wow,
very cool.
Yeah, I saw some of the promotion for that, and it looks pretty interesting. So
it's a fun film too.
Yeah, so a lot of great stuff. So if you are within driving distance and you're not already planning, there's definitely some good stuff. So what's the website that people can check out, Skip?
Shawna Shea, I think FF, I don't know. Yeah. .org.
If you
actually, it's probably on my phone.
There'll be a Google search, and also for those who follow us, it's been
you're right.
I've been putting it on the Deadites Facebook as well. So
it's ShawnaSheaFF.org. Yep,
he's a professional.
Yeah.
And you guys can buy tickets through that site as well.
No, what I'm super excited about, because I missed it last year, and I think there's some more helping dose of Jasper Tales.
Yes, we have Jasper's Tales opens up the horror block, and then we have to get Jasper out.
Yeah, because he's 6 now. Yeah.
So I'll tell you, I mean, I don't know what's playing there, but I'd be more worried about everybody else than I would about him.
Yeah, true.
We actually have another feature called "The God Inside My Ear," which is really great, really an indie psychological horror film that I hope gets some traction. It's good. It's going around like more on our festival level or second tier stuff. But it's pretty hot on that circuit as well right now.
Awesome.
And the actress is phenomenal. I can't remember her name, but it's an amazing performance.
Very cool. I wish I could go to everything, but unfortunately,
I'm definitely gonna camp out at the
but
Starlight on Saturday, so I'm excited. It's my lady friend's first film festival, and it's gonna be a good time.
Nice.
So yeah.
Great. And every night at Starlight at 10:00 we have bands.
Awesome. Oh, nice.
There's music every night.
Awesome.
Nice.
That sounds like a great time. So if once again, if you guys are anyone in the area that's not already going, definitely check it out. Go to ShawnaSheaFF.org, and even if you are not in the area and you want to go ahead and donate, you can do so on the website. Is that right?
That is correct.
Yep. So if you're interested in donating to the Shawna Shea, is it the foundation? Is that
it's the Shawna E. Shea Memorial Foundation Inc. That's we couldn't make it any longer if we tried.
So it's a really great thing, and
the intro tonight was very, very touching.
It was
amazing.
Yeah. So it's really for a great cause. It basically what you guys do is you have a scholarship. You do more than that, but specifically there's this Mars. What?
I'm waiting for you.
Okay. Well, you're like waving your hand.
No, it's just because it got hot. When I raise my hand, I'm waiting politely.
And so it's great because Skip, you guys give one winner basically like enough money to make a film, right?
Yeah, that's the fellowship, and it's a first-time female filmmaker, and we actually mentor through the process as well.
Yeah,
so we help with the script, we help with getting crew.
That's awesome.
We help as much as we can, and then we do give out scholarships to high school seniors in Uxbridge and in Southbridge, and the key with the scholarships is that we give them to average students. We don't give them to the best student.
Yeah.
I would have got a scholarship.
Average, not below average.
But even below we would actually do, because the top grades they get everything.
Yeah, it's true.
You know, and they a lot of times don't even need
Yeah.
You don't got to pass the test. You don't really have to.
Well, also, like your intro brought up kind of a good point, even if in a sort of roundabout way. Like, there's not one of the people who were talking. Like, there are art scholarships and stuff like that, but like, as somebody who's been like, all I do, like my only skill is I'm not very good at it, but the only thing I've always done is art, and that's all I ever thought about.
You masterbate too.
Don't
fool yourself.
Yeah, but have you ever seen me fucking masturbate? That shit should go in a gallery. But I am the Pied Piper of masturbation. Don't forget.
You're part of the Freebirds.
The Freebirds of Masturbation with Monster Zero and Tiny White. Sorry, Skip. But there is
That's
no.
Right. Me and
now
Raven.
we'll go back to talking about my daughter. I
Right.
guess. That's really
Well,
weird.
Yeah, no, but
let's just stop.
But there's no, you know, I wasn't good at what they wanted me to be because I was thinking about doing stuff that didn't have anything to do with what they were trying to teach me. I was thinking about making movies and wrestling and stuff like that. So it's really like there would be an argument to be made by somebody who's dumb that you're awarding underachievers, but in reality, you're just realizing that everyone has their own path. And I think that's really important.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's phenomenal, and I'm hoping I get a chance to see the film from the fellowship winner from last year. Is that playing on Saturday?
It's on Saturday at the
Awesome.
experimental
The
walk.
Yep. Okay. Cool. So hopefully we can get a chance to check that out. So yes, Mars.
And if you are not haven't got your fill of Skip this weekend, next weekend I have compiled my favorite hosts of all time to team up. Raven Shadow's like all excited. Not Raven Shadow. Skip isn't gonna have to go find Bill outside. But Skip and Bill by Force are hosting this year's Masquerade Extravaganza, and I can't wait.
No, I can't.
It's gonna be such a good time. Cinema Therapy, the Frenzy of the Tongs, who I don't know too much about except that they all look to be about my size and don't wear shirts, so that should be interesting.
There we go.
And the Excrementals, who are a punk rock cover band, and us truly. So,
who's us truly?
They're good.
The world's greatest evil fighting, supernatural, monster fighting supergroup. The people who will save your souls with some restaurant in Maine that Tiny White wrote that I forgot all the way down to here. Us. And what we really are is I'm the asshole who has to train a fucking new singer again. Every show, I get to sing somebody else to sing. Why can't you sing like a girl? My life would be so much easier.
I can. You never asked.
Falsetto.
But yeah, I'm very excited for the show. This, like I was saying when we had Jimmy on, that, this is a milestone year for Trick or Treat Radio and a milestone. We realized in setting up the maze a few weeks ago that this was our 25th anniversary as being the Deadites, and we had no fucking idea. So we'll probably have to get to that on the back end of things. But this is the Halloween extravaganza, the Masquerade extravaganza, as we rekindled a couple of years ago. That's happening in our 25th year. So I'm super excited. I think musically, not aesthetically, but musically we're better than ever. And I think that we have the best hosts, and it's going to be great bands, and it's going to be a punk rock, electronic good time, which are my favorite two things. So
perfect.
All right, so Skip, we're going to talk about a movie called Housewife. I don't know if you have seen it, so I don't know if you want to hang out, or if I know you're probably like
no, I'm going home
exhausted.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
It's okay. Just wanted to make sure. So we appreciate Skip coming in and right after the night one of the film festival. I'm so excited for the rest of it, and hopefully some of us can make it out to the rest of it. I know Mars is going to be there on Saturday. I'm hoping to make it on Saturday as well.
Yeah.
So check out Survival of the Film Freaks again and some other stuff. So yeah, awesome. Thanks for coming in, Skip. And I guess we didn't do intros. We'll skip them.
No.
It's like we're almost done with the show. So
I had to hang out with you guys for like 4 extra hours.
Yeah,
today.
that's true. Raven Chow, just say the last thing you normally say.
That's strap on.
All right.
Do you love a scary story? Do you love to dance? The Big Scary Monster Haunts at Midnight is a collection of dark songs about sex, love, death, revenge, and the end of the world. Brought to you by the world's greatest monster hunting electroshock band, the Deadites. CD Baby, and all other digital distribution sites.
I'm Mike Allred. For the gidgiest listening experience, you gotta check out Trick or Treat Radio.
I'm Ruby Burble.
What's up, y'all? It's me, the Yeti. Telling all the ladies that they couldn't be more fine and that we should knock those boots like Frankenstein. When I want to get my nerd on, I go to Facebook and I go to the Trick or Treat Radio Facebook group. That's the place where I get to talk about all the hip new horror movies, all the cool comics,
Like comics.
RPGs, video games, you name it, we're talking about shit on there. And you could not be any cooler if you were the coolest kid in school. Be the first kid on your block to swing their cock over at the Trick or Treat Radio Facebook group. Just go to Facebook, search for Trick or Treat Radio, ask to join, and it's like Nerd Nirvana, baby, without the shotgun blast. This is the Yeti, signing out. See you at the Trick or Treat Radio Facebook group.
Follow us on Twitter at The Deadites, TheDeadites.com, and TrickOrTreatRadio.com.
I'm Alex West. And I'm Andrea Subasati, and we're from the Faculty of Horror podcast. And you're listening to Trick or Treat Radio.
I want to try to do something nice for, put your heads together, by the way. Me and Tiny.
You told me to turn your mic on, you idiot.
I got music. Yeah. Sorry. What's this song?
Silver Bullet Moon.
Oh man, we should have added this. I was looking for fucking songs to play.
All right, well, we are back. Mars was
Are
like,
we?
turn my mic on.
Jeez.
We had some dead air for a second there. And
Well,
Mars was like, turn my mic on, I'll sing. And I did, and then he forgot.
You should have pointed at me. I thought you were just ignoring me like normal.
All right, so we are going to talk about a movie called Housewife. Now, Housewife is directed by Can Evrenol. Can had directed previously Baskin, which was probably one of our favorite films ever on the show. Right? Is that safe to say?
Yeah, I'd agree. It's definitely, I think
It's up there.
Well, it was either number 2 or number 1 of my favorite film that year.
Yeah, so I'm guessing it's probably top 10, 15 of all time for the show.
Yeah.
It's up there. So we really dug it a lot. And so I've been really looking forward to Housewife. And originally, we were going to do another movie. And actually, it was El Goro had hipped me to this. He's like, hey, I saw Can Evrenol's new film was going to be released in a few days. And I was like, holy shit. Because I've been waiting for this one, and I didn't see anything come across. I'm actually really hurting without the Horror Club. Our friends over at the horrorclub.blogspot.com, they used to have the best place to go look for VOD releases, and unfortunately, they haven't been updating. So it's literally been since July. They haven't updated since July, and before then, they had gone like 3 months without updating. So yeah, it sucks. It was an awesome site that they collected all the genre and horror stuff for VOD. So I do use another site, but it's not as comprehensive now. So I tend to miss some stuff, and I guess I should probably do a better job of looking for that stuff. But anyways, so Housewife was one that we were really looking forward to. Anything with Can's name on it, I'm excited about. So when we found out that this was coming, we decided to call an audible, and Molly is going to be put on the back burner.
See you at the Cram Jam, Molly.
I think we'll get to Molly eventually, but we had to jump in on this one. So we're doing Housewife from Can Evrenol, and it was written by Can Evrenol and Sem Ozaduru, and it stars Clementine Podats, David Sakurai, Alicia Capadog and Daphne Hallman. And the synopsis: on a snowy eve, little Holly's sister and father are killed by her frantic mother. Years later, Holly is married, lonely, and her life is soon about to take a turn for the ultra weird when she visits Umbrella of Love and Mind. It's a very obscure sort of synopsis. It doesn't really tell you much, but this is a hard film to synopsize.
Yeah.
I will say that.
Yeah.
So I do actually want to play, Mars, I'm letting you know, I'm playing this in studio because there's some stuff in this that I wanted to sort of, be able to watch and see. Now, this is a movie, I will say, I don't feel I got the cut of this movie's jib.
I fucking agree. I'm so glad you said that.
Thank you.
Watching
I felt
it
the same way
once.
too.
I really feel like I need to watch this again. Now, I will start off by saying this film is fucking gorgeous.
Yeah.
It is gorgeous. And you can tell that Can had channeled some of his love of, at least I'm guessing, his love of Giallo, especially Dario Argento.
Yeah.
That seemed pretty obvious to me. Would you agree with that, MZ? I know you're obviously a big
absolutely. And there's one, if I may jump into this really quickly,
Sure.
is that there's one specific scene that's absolutely Bava.
Bava, yeah. Well,
It's
can you say the scene without like giving too much
no,
away?
No, I don't want to.
Is
say
it toward the
scene.
end?
Close to the
Okay,
yeah. I would say about maybe 80%, 83%.
Okay, yeah.
of the film.
Then I know what you mean. And this is also, it was also Can Evrenol's first English-speaking film. So the film is in English. It's not in Turkish. So that I thought that was that's cool that he's doing an English-speaking film.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus, yeah.
Second.
For a second.
Yeah.
And this, so we start off the film with the two girls. We have Clementine's character Holly and her sister
Isabel.
Is that it? Isabel? I'm drawing a blank on her name.
Isabel.
No, it wasn't Isabel. We'll look it up and see. Miss Isabel.
Yeah, they're playing. They're
forget
having
her
the classic, tent. Making a tent out of stuff. They're playing. Nice.
Not Mars's kind of tent.
No.
No. Yeah, so we start with them being younger girls. Like I'm guessing one's probably 12 or 13, right? With what happens right here. So
the age of the change, or the
and so we have a scene where the mother, where the sister gets her period, and the mother comes in and is like frantic and like really upset, and takes the sister away, and then we have Holly, who is told to just stay and count to 100 over and over and over until her mom comes back. But a door opens, she thinks it's her mom, and then she stops counting and looks, and then she sees a very traumatizing scene as her mom is trying to drown her sister in the toilet. Or not trying, does.
Yeah. The ultimate swirly, really.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
You're a bad person.
Thank you.
It's like not even like a little room for like, he's okay. Nope.
So after the ultimate swirly, and this clearly traumatizes Holly. Like this is,
I was traumatized.
Yeah. This was a very, very intense opening of the film for sure.
Because it shows her. Next thing you know, you see her. Years have passed. She's a full-grown adult. She's married, has a husband and everything, and the traumatized thought of seeing her sister, dying from being drowned in a toilet has kind of
it's
warped her ability to go to the bathroom in a conventional way.
Which, by the way, I realized that's what happened to me.
What? You saw someone getting drowned in the toilet?
So that's why I shit my pants.
That's why you shit your pants.
I
see. It all makes sense.
It's the fucking Phil Collins song. What the fuck?
I thought you were actually going to mention something else, MZ, about another way that she was affected by by that because there's a scene later on where she has her hand in her pants.
Well,
Yeah,
obviously-
oh, yeah.
obviously-
That's also what happened to me.
Which was like creepy and troubling. That that's sort of what did it for her.
Well, I mean, if you got to figure, I mean, I'm a dude. I'm not a girl at all. But I mean,
Are you sure?
Well, I mean, kind of hairy. Well, Italians are hairy people. But I mean, obviously, she's next. Was the oldest sister this happened to. So I mean, what happened when she eventually had that?
Well, she was out of that. She flew the coop.
But it's still gonna have some kind of like trauma to her, and it obviously impacted. I mean, this movie definitely is post-traumatic stress, right? I mean, and is what it is, and dealing with that as she gets older and how it impacts her life, and relationships.
Yeah, and it does a lot. Like you can tell, like she was very affected by this, and I like that it definitely affected her in different ways, and and even the subtle thing about her not being able to go to the bathroom in a toilet, I thought was interesting. Like, she, typically she sort of like, I guess goes in the tub and then washes it away, and
kind of like if you're in a rock and roll show, the line's too long, dudes peeing sinks. But what happens when it's like that?
Or out the windows.
Listen,
Is the screen down?
I was under the influence. But what happens with number 2 though?
That's what I was thinking.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
That's a valid
of course
question.
You were thinking.
It's a valid MZ, right? You were thinking that.
I was thinking that too, but it never came up.
Asking validation for him thinking things is like asking Charles Manson to make sure that this is a sequitive thought. Like, oh yeah, MZ, didn't you agree? Right. Yeah. It's like asking Bill Cosby like dating tips.
Oh, now you got to bring Bill Cosby into this.
It's not what you do. Well.
You're
the one talking about
masturbation when we were talking about the
No, I didn't.
Film Festival, and now
I did not. He did.
Oh,
yeah, Johnny.
You rewind the tape, Johnny.
I'm not rewinding shit. You're the one that usually talk. I brought up your masturbatory habits because you always talk about them.
I know. Well, it's true. I'm good at it.
Well, you do it a lot.
Congratulations.
Well, if you do it a lot, there can only be two things out of it. You're either really, really good at it, or you're really, really bad.
In fact, he almost went pro. Sure. Was 140 times a day.
Yeah.
Mars was at 135.
My average was very good.
Yeah.
One thing that I did think of, because it's funny, I've been I won't go too inside baseball, but I've been reading a lot about post-traumatic stress recently, and one thing that I felt was really, really interesting was how her relationships were kind of built like on giving validation, not on like getting validation. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
Like she you know what I mean? Like she had a strange relation. Well, I mean, no, it was not necessarily strange, but like she had a
different, yeah.
Yeah,
open sort of.
Yeah, and her husband was an artist and a writer, and like they seemed super intimate, but they also like seemed like they were only good at like being physical almost.
Yeah.
Like their interactions like were very like
distant.
Yeah,
and clearly, like we just saw a scene here where where her and her husband were having sex, and the husband was like super into it, and she was just kind of laying there, yeah.
And they almost seem like that was the only time though, like where he was like kind of bought into her. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And there's a line at the end that I thought like was both like a great supervillain line and a great way to describe like a lot of loveless relationships. You know what I mean? Like, so I thought it was a very little nice piece of Morrissey. So,
don't say the wrong areas.
And I think that this movie really did. I agree with Johnny. I don't know what I think of this movie, but But there was with stuff I'm going through and have been going through, there are elements of this film that really resonated with me.
Yeah.
Because it's like you feel she's not like she has all these relationships, right, that are seemingly normal, but you can tell that she's emotionally isolated, which like was something that like really resonated with me. Like
it's like she's almost like frozen in time from that moment. That left such a huge mark on her that it's almost like she wasn't able to move past it, you know?
Yeah, I think an interesting thing about post-traumatic stress syndrome is you feel like what do you talk, like you feel like you always feel like someone's looking at you, like you always feel like people can see what you're afraid of and like what your things are. And like she, you know, put herself in a place, you know, she had friends, she went out, her husband was successful.
Yep.
Like there was no, you know,
right. It seems like on paper like
the perfect life.
Perfect life, yeah.
And she, though, understandably, this is like, you know, obviously not to say nobody ever gets murdered in real life, but this is obviously the extreme version of like the situation of what got her there. But it's everything she does is informed by that night now.
Right. Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's very like her whole life is built around it to the point where, you know, her husband obviously knows she shits in the tub. So like
well, we don't know that.
like you know, so like at the end of the day, like it's just like it's so she's made such a culture out of how she's affected by that night.
To be fair though, there had to have been some love there from the beginning. That's a heavy thing to accept.
I mean,
I don't think so.
No.
I don't know. I mean, I guess it would be. It's easy to accept.
That's like MZP and sitting down.
No, I'm the one that pees sitting down.
You know, I mean, so she shits in the tub. So what? So it sounds like 5 pounds of ground beef hitting a counter. So what?
Wow, there you go.
What?
Yep.
You know,
still time to make travel plans if you're from out of town.
I mean,
if you want to come hang out as a rocket shock.
I imagine it's something you can look past. You know, you just want to make sure she breaks out the soft scrub and, you know, washes out the tub. You know, before he gets in there.
All right.
But that's my.
There's also this scene that we're playing now where she's in the grocery store and she has sort of I don't know if it's like an anxiety attack. But I assume was brought on by a child, right? Is that
right?
Yeah. Because as we find out, and once again, we're not really spoiling much. This is fairly early on. Her husband wants to have a child, and she has said that she wants to, but she's not really being completely honest with him about her feelings and everything. So,
oh yeah, I mean, I'm sure the last thing she wants to do is be a mother and be in that role,
right?
You know, and
right.
You know, it'd be like being like having an alcoholic father.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be a thing where you don't want to become. You don't want.
Aries must have hated this movie. Look, he fucking pointed at the door.
You don't give a fuck.
He's like 10 feet away from his mic.
No, I won't like. Monster Zero lost me with the 5 pounds and the.
Yeah, that was
and I noticed some paint chipping, so I was.
I mean, yeah, that's a very interesting point though, like with the alcoholic father thing, because like. You start to think like, what is the trigger that's going to make, you know what I mean? Like you tend to, you hear forever that mental illness is like hereditary and like you wonder what your trigger is, you know what I mean? You wonder what things are. And like that again is a scene. Cause like I said, one of the things that I feel like probably you can just say mental illness in some regards in general is like, you know, like there are situations where you put yourself in like stressful situations. You put yourself in situations all the time and the way the lights act, the way things go, a certain change in the stimulus.
Yep.
Somewhere you are 3 or 4 times a week turns into like kind of a nightmare where you feel like everyone is staring at you, everyone knows, you know what I mean? Like so, it's like I felt like these were the things that this film did good.
Yeah. And it's a slow build in the first. Hour, I'd say. Yeah, it's a slow burn, and this is sort of in stark contrast to Baskin because. Granted, it did have some setup, but that was a pretty fucking crazy movie all the way through for the most part.
Even when, if you look at the runtime, like it did take him a tiny bit to get I would say not
20, 25 minutes.
But those characters were very raucous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, like even in
there was a lot of good dialogue and something to keep you.
Right. And also because we're not from Turkey, the scenery was very, like captivating. You know what I mean? There was nothing mundane about Baskin.
So this is sort of, and interestingly, we just talked a couple weeks ago about Mandy, and that is Panos Cosmatos' second film.
We actually talk about Mandy all day for the last 5.
Well, yeah, you and I. So I thought it was interesting when I heard an interview with Panos Cosmatos. He said that Beyond the Black Rainbow was him inhaling and Mandy was him exhaling, basically.
Interesting.
In terms of dealing with the loss of his parents. He was taking in the emotion, and that's Beyond the Black Rainbow, and Mandy was him fucking pushing it out. You know, and I almost feel this is the reverse.
I agree 100%. Thank you.
Where Baskin is Can just fucking going nuts, and this is him being more introspective and more of a character piece and examining, you know, this all hinges on Holly's character and Clementine Poidatz's performance, which I thought was really good. And, you know, it is a more sort of reserved film, but it does get, I mean, there are moments where it's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it gets batshit crazy.
On paper, though, like, it's a weird thing. This is one of those things where it's, like, reverse. Like, I feel like if you read this script, like, it, like, more often than not, it seems completely off the reservation. But the presentation of this is so, I don't know, I don't want to say subtle because it's not that, a matter of fact. And the world building in this, I think, is so great that the things that are batshit crazy, there are things that are batshit crazy that don't play that way because the world building is so good.
Yeah, so you know, we do get, you know, probably a good, I don't know, like 20, 30 minutes of just sort of learning more about Holly and her day-to-day and then this scene, which this is the I guess the masturbation scene here.
In that case, it felt very. It felt very 70s to me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like it felt like a very, you know, almost like Rosemary's Baby or
I was
you know like you know, like everybody, like The Exorcist is so iconic that people forget that there's like a couple montages about, you know, the Reagan and her mom like shopping and going about their business and like dealing with the nanny and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So like, you know, in that sense, like it did a good job. You know, you felt like you understood at least like this character, you know, like and you had enough time to kind of live with her.
Absolutely, and that's the great thing is you know, we get a really good sense of what Holly's all about, and it helps when things start to get a little bit crazier. And I don't want to really want to harp on that one scene, but like in just rewatching now, the masturbation scene, she looked kind of pained after she was finished, which
there was no joy there.
Well,
no,
she had
no.
I didn't get the idea that she finished.
Well, I think what happened was that,
and maybe you're right.
I think what happened. I think the point of this scene, if I can break it down, if I can ruin the magic trick, was a very stark contrast to show that because of this thing that happened, she can't even have a simple primal joy in her life as being stimulated, because when her brain moves into the quote unquote like dreaming, if you will, as it would be in like a Neil Gaiman or Clive Barker story, those are the gateway thoughts, and it just shuts down everything else that they're doing.
Yeah, and that's, I think that's a really good observation. So, you know, and that's why I enjoy, you know, that's one of the great things about discussing these is you know, we can sort of suss out what it means to us and some of the things that we observe while watching the movie. And in this case, I do think that it absolutely was a character study. It really wants you to understand Holly, because if you don't, this movie isn't as effective, you know. And so we kind of go through this, and now we're about almost 20 minutes into the movie, and Holly and her husband have dinner with friends, and the friends are going to an event. I don't even know what else to call it really, it's sort of a cult-like. At least you get the feeling that it's like a cult-like organization called Umbrella of Love and Mind. And they sort of tour around and try to recruit people. It almost seems in a way sort of like a religion.
Like Scientology a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Where they have these like sort of like intimate sort of like events where...
communes and shit.
Yeah. but it definitely has sort of a cult vibe to it because they call everyone who's in the inner circle as part of the family. They all wear robes, and you know, and
it had a very Scientology sort of like in this. I don't think in its presentation because I don't know anything about Scientology, but I think there's obviously two people who are looking for something very like sexy about Scientology because of the celebrity that are part of it. You know,
sure, and that's a good way of putting it because like Scientology is sort of romanced, I guess, a little bit in terms of there's a lot of people in Hollywood that are involved in it, so I think it has this sort of aura to it in a way. More than just being batshit crazy.
Yep. And the cult leader was in one of our favorite movies in a while.
Yeah, so the cult leader was played by David Sakurai, and yes, he was the Japanese swordsman from Karate Kill.
Yeah. And
I knew he looked familiar.
So he knows he knows old Whitebeard, the blind Avenger himself.
That's right. I think I saw Carando actually post a picture on social media. He was having dinner with him recently.
Yeah.
So but he's been in a few other things, and I think he's about to blow up because he's got
a great look.
He does. He has a very unique look, and he's in the upcoming Fantastic Beasts film, which is the Harry Potter. Yeah. And
art house film.
Yeah, a little art house film. He was in. He played Scythe in Iron Fist, which I still haven't seen Iron Fist. So I don't know. Do you remember him in that?
It's got to be season 2.
It doesn't say on here. It just says he was Scythe.
Who the fuck is Scythe?
I don't know.
Did they decide that Razor Fist was a dumb name? Is that right? But
yeah, if he was in season 1, I don't recall, but I know they're bringing in Typhoid Mary for season 2.
Yeah, so he's obviously he's been in a few things here, and I think his star is certainly on the rise here. That's him from Iron Fist right there, Raven. I don't know if you can see if that looks familiar to you.
Okay, I think he might have been. Was he part of the?
He did look different with he had like a mustache and
part of like the hand like hierarchy, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe in.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, so I don't know. But
I'll see it in 1950.
1950?
I'll go
back
in 2050.
Shit's gonna flip like fucking Cameron's dad's car because like I'm not gonna like. I don't think I'm gonna finish fucking Jessica Jones season 1 by the end of the year. Things are looking bad, and I like it. TV stresses me out.
So yeah, he played Bruce O'Hara, who was basically the leader of this cult-like umbrella of light and of love and mind.
Yeah, don't go to those fucking places, gang. Don't go to any kind of place of like love and mind. Don't go to that. Nothing good happens from that. Stay home.
Let me get this. I loved the way this was filmed. We're watching a scene now where they're walking into the room where the event was taking place, and there's just something almost kind of dreamlike about the way it moves.
Oh yeah.
Which I thought was very apropos of what's happening. So, yeah, I think Can definitely stretched his legs a little bit more as a director and was able to do a little bit more with this. And because it was more of a character piece, you can actually focus on the characters a little bit more. Whereas in Baskin, it was about the intensity and the gore and what was going on screen. But in this, I think it's able to sort of take examine the characters a little bit more. And I actually got a little bit of an Eyes Wide Shut vibe from this as well.
You know what's funny that you say that? You know what I took away modernly, and obviously they're both going from both Kubrick and Argento. But again, I'm bad at saying names, but I know he's one of your favorites. There are elements of this that I get a little Aronofsky.
Oh yeah, Darren Aronofsky.
Yeah, like I think like the threesome scene specifically, like the way that was lit and the way it was shot, and the use of dark rooms that were like lit by seemingly like organic. Not organic, but like one thing that that I love that he does, even in his films that are more subdued, he kind of lights rooms from, and this happened in Baskin in a different way too, like the light of the room the characters are in are from another room or from a window. Like it's not like they're not lit by like an overhead light or something. I really enjoy that.
I will say too, like even like the cold, it felt cold.
Yep.
Like it felt like you were.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean, like
for sure, yeah. And I love a lot of those scenes. I don't know exactly where the film is supposed to take place. Do you know do you guys know if they mentioned where it was supposed to take place?
It didn't look too much like it, but like there is it was by a.
It was filmed in Turkey, but
Yeah.
I don't know if it was.
And it was
supposed
by
to
a
be.
major city too, but there was a lot of people had a lot of different kind of accents too. So like that couple alone, that they were friends with. I mean, there's some stuff at the end that always makes me think New England, So both the weather, and everything else. You know what I mean? But like, in a thing that's interesting about New England that you don't really get. In other places that I know about, maybe on the other coast, up our other coast, but like, she seemed pretty secluded, but was in a strip mall and then in a like art open, you know what I mean? It seemed like she was like, able to, like she could go from the woods to the city without too much. So it could be. Why, Aries? You look really mad.
To be perfectly honest with you, I didn't get it.
Okay.
That's what we're sort of sussing I can't sit here and argue my point because blatantly, I just didn't get it. The story made absolutely no sense to me. I thought the acting was terrible. I really got the feeling that at times the actors didn't know what they were saying. Like they didn't understand the English words that were coming out of their mouths.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't see. I'm sorry, baskets. I didn't see that. I'm sorry. I didn't see that, so I don't have the stake that you guys have. In
Market Baskin.
So I mean, this is me coming in cold to this director, and yeah, I didn't get it.
And that's fine. I mean, there's it's not the most coherent in terms of narrative as to what I mean. There's a lot of
Baskin's far more coherent.
Well, it's more straightforward.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
this film. There is some stuff in Baskin that is a little hard to grasp because it's got this on the surface level, and then when you get beneath the surface, there's sort of a little bit more going on there. But
no, but refresh me. Was Baskin the one with the half an hour flashback scene?
What? No, I think you're thinking of Abhay.
Okay, yeah.
Baskin was the one with that creepy Turkish dude who was the father.
Then they found him. They found him like he was like
he was like a parking lot attendant.
Okay. I don't think I like that.
It was pretty gory and pretty.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And this isn't like ain't like fucking. How would you not get this? I don't fucking even really know what the fuck happened. You know what I mean? Like it's not like this.
So the
clear cut.
Yeah. There is some astral projection in this, and that can get a little bit curious, because there's times when you don't know when it's being utilized and when it's not. So there is some things in this that it is tough to kind of suss out. But really, Mars did a good job of talking about sort of her frozen in time, the PTSD moment, where that really affected the rest of her life. And this guy, the scene's pretty awesome.
He's awesome. Yeah.
You're a boogeyman. So he comes out, and there's clearly something more going on. I don't want to allude to too much because, spoilery type stuff. But he singles out Holly, comes up to her, and he knows that there's something there, and he knows that he could help her. And he sort of helps to unlock this sort of moment where she's stuck in a way emotionally, and because there's that moment where she has some clarity, right? Where she sees the husband, and it's kind of that threesome scene that was mentioned, where she has a little bit more clarity about what she wants, and she's not afraid of some of the things she was afraid of prior. But then things take an even more bizarre turn when she sort of gets a little bit more in tune with Bruce. And, the last 20 minutes I don't really even want to talk about because it is fucking nuts.
Yeah.
and awesome. Like I was just
it almost seems like it doesn't even belong in this movie. The last 20 minutes.
So you said something as I was almost peeing my pants. I had to run away. That you were saying that Baskin is more coherent or concise than this movie.
Well, it's more straightforward.
Yeah. Well, I think that this movie, there is the impression I get from this movie, because it's very eloquent, is that it's very straightforward, and I think that there's some weird degree of misdirection, because where they get makes sense. I don't know, like maybe as a film goer I'm denying it because I feel like almost surprised that this happened, but like I agree with Aries to a degree, but I think that like I'm unpacking stuff by the imagery because of my fandom of a writer who this sort of stuff is a couple of writers who this stuff is very referential to. So I feel like it's a weird thing to have happen. Like sometimes there are twists in movies, sometimes there are surprises in movies. This gave me a whole bunch of stuff that I wasn't even thinking about that illuminated everything else. Where I do feel like this movie went off the track a little bit and got distracted was some scenes that we'll call it dreamlike scenes, where things were happening that maybe didn't happen, or things that were like projected on scenes that had already happened and stuff like that. Specifically when they kind of kept going back to the scene, the cult scene, you know what I mean? And they kept going back to that at different times. That's where I feel like this movie lost its way a little bit, because I felt like they were referential to this one thing already, and I understand that and I do appreciate that, unlike Argento and at times, Fulci, the dreamlike logic of this film was explained, right? That was a neat conceit, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that was something that I really did appreciate. But I do feel like those scenes didn't really serve anything other than be style over substance. And I feel like they kind of took away from the impact of these fucking outrageous things that were happening in a very intimate setting. One thing that I did notice, though, I've been thinking a lot about being engaged and shit you notice. When the quote-unquote, there was a scene that involved children and nudity. And I noticed when the children and nudity were happening, the children all of a sudden had big-ass adult hands.
Yeah.
So, like... But so that's kind of for me like
I thought that too.
I kind of feel like there were a few scenes as it started to kind of like, whether it was trying to ramp up tension from doing that, like I actually think it subtracted from the tension, and that's where I think this film lost its way, and where everything that happened in the last 4 minutes would have set better if they didn't do all this stuff. You know what I mean? If they didn't have people stumbling back out on stage, and they didn't have I felt like that stuff didn't work.
Let me read something real quick. I just was sort of perusing a review from dailydead.com, and I think that this does a good job of sort of explaining a little bit more about the movie. And it says, not spoilers, but I mean in terms of what is going on. And it says, while there's a basic structure that can be gleaned from the film, Evrenol's script is purely based on set pieces and surreal sequences. His introduction at the Sitges, I don't know, I forget how you pronounce it, Sitges, I think, or something like that.
Yeah,
screening elaborated on this. He wanted to evoke his dreams externally. Because of this, the film often does feel nonsensical. Each act focuses on plot beats connected only by the titular character and her childhood trauma. Structurally, the film doesn't work, but that is, in a way, the core of its deadly charm. Nonsensical doesn't mean dull or unintelligent, and in this case, it simply displays Evrenol's weird imagination without constraint.
I disagree.
Okay.
I do feel like there was a linear thing happening in this film. I do think
I definitely agree that it's linear, yes.
Yeah, and I do feel like they might give the appearance because of some, quite frankly, unnecessary stuff. But it's just a weird thing to have happen where, I don't know, I can't, again, we often end up in these bottlenecked lummox states where we don't want to say too much. But, like, when all the shit that goes down, and they kind of add some mythology to it that wasn't necessarily even hinted at before, or at least super subtly if it was, you're like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, you're like, oh, all this rhetoric and all these certain elements of this imagery make sense now. But I don't want to say it's a tough pill to swallow, but it's tough to unpack because you're literally, I don't know, like, and I guess that's the way a story should work, like that you get your punchline at the end of the joke. But, like, this was a reference-changing punchline. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah.
Yes. In sort of in the sense that we recently talked about, I guess, ghost stories, right?
Sure.
Where when you get the punchline, it changes how you view the rest of the film. So I guess in a way, yes. Where the ending of this film certainly takes a turn towards a different way that it wasn't leading. It didn't appear to be leaning towards.
Yeah, that ending I certainly was not expecting.
I mean, I get the feeling that this movie is they had this brilliant idea for a subtext, but forgot to bury the subtext, and just made the whole movie that.
Well, I don't necessarily agree with that because, I mean, as Mars was stating about PTSD, I mean, this certainly has, unless you're alluding to something else, but it definitely, it's in your face the whole time about, her issues with this event when she was a child.
Well, I mean, I'm not arguing that point. Up until the point where, you first see this guy come dancing onto stage, the movie makes complete sense.
Yeah.
I'm not arguing anything that anyone said up until that point. The PTSD 100%, yes. It's at that point this movie loses me. I mean, especially this scene right here. What led up to this, and including this.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, that's I think the astral projection aspect of it, and I also do. I'm fairly certain that Can Evrenol is a fan of David Lynch. Which in this case, I mean, I think that it sometimes I watch Lynch and I mean Lynch is awesome. Like I'm blown away by some of his films, but sometimes I just don't really get what's going on, and it takes several viewings to get there.
It was something I almost said that almost fucking blew it. So remind me to say it after. But it's an interesting take on one of the writers kind of referenced in this. But I won't say it on air because it will fucking blow it.
Okay. Yeah, I think I know.
Yeah, I was really on board with this film, and it's not to say that I didn't like it. I do like it, and it's not to say that I don't understand certain parts of it. I do, but man, this movie just gets so fucking batshit crazy that it takes it's and Wolfie, we said it earlier, this is a movie that's going to take more than one viewing to get the full impact on.
Because when you get to those last 20 minutes, you're like, what?
Yeah.
Like, and you need to find out how it relates to the rest.
I apologize.
So much going on.
I apologize for this ruining things to a degree, but if you are listening to this or watching it and disappointed that you had an opinion of, you were expecting something out of this director that you weren't getting, just wait, it's coming.
Yeah. If you're watching this movie and you're expecting Baskin 2 and you don't get it for the first half, don't give up on it. I'll just say don't give up on it.
Yeah, but I mean,
I love this, by the way, where there's a reference to something that happens earlier, which I thought was really cool.
There's a super in-your-face reference, like, a few times in this film, and I didn't pick it up to the end. Like, so there's a lot of neat misdirection in this movie. But I don't know if it works. I tried to make, it doesn't happen a lot, but every once in a while I'll hit up Jakey, maybe sometimes El Goro to try to help me, like, not like, because
suss it out.
Yeah, well, as Wolfie will know, I don't always agree with those guys. You know what I mean? So it's not like I'm looking for any sort of vindication. Every once in a while, I'm just trying to like process what I saw. You know what I mean? Like, just try to talk through it. And Jakey was kind of seemingly in the same place as we were, in the sense where it's just like, got me, man. It's all over the place. But like it's just like I'll be honest, I don't know how I feel yet, which I can't remember the last time we did a movie where if I saw it, sometimes I didn't feel like Psychopaths. I didn't feel comfortable like covering when we did because I was so sick that I was like just felt like I didn't watch it. As opposed to Tasteophobia, which I hated so much that I couldn't pay attention. But like, I don't know what I think. Like, I don't. Maybe that's never happened on the show. I don't know what I think.
Yep, and I mean, overall, I know what my verdict is going to be. But this is a film I definitely want to revisit.
Right.
And I actually was hoping to rewatch it today, and I just didn't have time, especially since we went to go see The Ranger. I just didn't have time to revisit. I was going to watch the whole thing all over again because I wanted to watch all of it.
Yeah, this is the one time where our grading, like a lot of time I'll kind of complain Austin that sometimes our grading is so black and white that I can't, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't really get the point across.
Yep.
But I wouldn't know how to give this a letter grade, for instance, which is how I grade films in my other life.
Your other life.
Yeah, so like, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like I just don't know. Like I don't know. I don't have a metric for some of the stuff this film does, I guess. Maybe it's because I'm not, I don't have a refined palate. Maybe it's because I'm a dummy, which I'm pretty upfront about. Maybe I really don't get it and think I get it. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, this is a movie that's really in its own classification. You can't really put it in any one specific.
Well, yeah, it's surrealistic. It's a sort of surrealistic giallo with Lynchian sort of influence, I guess.
Yeah, and the writer/director who is very much referenced in his last film is here, but a different part of his bibliography is kind of referenced here too, which I thought was interesting. Because like obviously Baskin has a huge Barker influence, and this kind of read to me like a Barker, like if you've read Weave World or specifically Great and Secret Show and Imagica, like this felt like those to me, especially the kind of weird way, the weird yet a matter of fact way sex and things are kind of tackled in this film.
Okay, at the risk of being a dick, we're coming up on the review taking as long as the movie. Can we wrap this up?
Are we? Didn't
we're
seem
not.
that long.
I jumped ahead way ahead.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
okay, because I'm just noticing the movie. And
Jesus, Harry.
Okay, well, I'm a dick. I want to get this done with.
You are a dick.
I don't think you're a dick.
Yeah, and speaking, I mean, the running time is.
It's 82 minutes, I think.
Yeah, it's only 82 minutes, and hardly any fat is in this movie at all. I mean, it's a very tight story.
Pretty lean, yeah.
Yeah, cutting out what I would have cut out would hardly affect the running time.
You know how I could tell that Aries didn't really love this movie? He didn't even mention the nudity.
She was an attractive woman.
She reminded me of somebody that I know in real life. I just can't place it. It was bugging
She's got
me
a
so much.
Winona Ryder vibe to her.
Something about the way.
It's the 90s haircut.
That's one of my favorite haircuts, though.
Yeah, this movie is just beyond bizarre.
But see, you say that.
No, but I mean that in a good way.
Yeah,
I'm
but
not
like,
saying it's a bad thing.
I
but
feel like
I'm just saying that it's like Wolfie said. Don't expect Baskin 2. You're not going to get it. This is
well, eventually you do.
Let's hope.
No, he's talking about the last bit.
But I mean, I feel like
I think this is such a departure from Baskin that Evrenol is just.
And I like that he went different.
Oh, so do I.
Yeah.
So do I. And more directors are doing that a lot lately.
I mean,
I've noticed.
But I feel like you're describing, say, Beyond the Black Rainbow, like synopsize Beyond the Black Rainbow. You know, like even a film that like you synopsize, like Under the Skin, like if you really actually try to break that down beat by beat, that's a fucking bizarre film. Like I could tell you what this is about, and I could tell you what the subtext is about. But there's some other there's some other snakehead eating the head on the opposite side. This weird referential palindrome that I feel like is working just under the bit of this film that kind of gets busted wide open in the last 4 minutes. I looked at the thing, but I'm not sure how I feel about it. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
So
yeah, because and we can't really. It would be super spoilery, so we can't really talk about the end here. I'm actually going to go a little bit...
It's not that different from Mandy in the sense where it does exactly what you want it to do for this type of movie.
Yeah.
But does it in a way that isn't how it does.
Right, and it comes as and maybe this is what you just said, but it comes as a shock when it gets to that. It's like, whoa, this is where it went.
And it's a shock, and it also kind of like any questions that you have about the movie are kind of answered, but it does, I don't know, it does what the best things to think about does. It then all of a sudden, like, it all of a sudden hits you in the face with the Encyclopedia Britannica of everything that's been going on in this movie. And then in that, you start, like, I'm like, well, fuck, I thought I understood what was going on. And now this movie in the last 4 minutes has all this different stuff.
Yep. So this is definitely one, and like even what we're I mean, like, I hate to reference what's going on screen, but watching this, it's like, what, it's...
See, this is what I didn't like.
No.
Because I just felt like it not even from I get, like, how things can happen in the world that they've constructed, but I feel like cinematically, I was fucking on the edge, like, at the edge of my seat, like crushing my water bottle as like these little hooded people and everything else that was going on in that room. I felt like you didn't need I felt like you didn't need to decompress. You needed like either to maintain or ratchet up that pressure there, and I felt like it kind of took it away,
So we'll start to wrap this up, but let me read something from Creepy Girl. She says, I didn't get it either, Aries. I mean, I got it, but a lot of it was confusing, and there was things that didn't make sense, and I didn't get Baskin either. So, all right, and the other thing I wanted to mention is I don't know. I don't think this plays into it because clearly we know that Can Evrenol is a big fan of American cinema, of Italian cinema, so I don't think it's a cultural thing. But... And he obviously speaks English very well since, he'd left us a voice message talking about Baskin. And, so I don't think that there's a language barrier. But this is, since this is his first English-speaking film, like I had wondered if there was some cultural references or maybe something cultural that just wasn't, because we don't have that point of reference, that we just couldn't really understand, So I don't know. Do you guys think there's anything to that, or is it just... that this is sort of more of a dreamlike film?
Yeah, no, I don't think there's anything cultural about it. I think it's just...
I think the cultural thing that might be lost is actually motherfuck. So normally when you reference a literary trope or cinematic trope as it's become, it's throughout the whole fucking movie, right? It doesn't fucking hit you with it in the last 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So like I think that if you are not versed in that, it might end up being a double head scratcher. You know what I mean? Like you might end up being, you get no relief. You just like when she was doing the masturbate, you roll over and you're just uncomfortable.
That's fair.
You know, so
Yeah.
Although I do like the fact that what's the prophet's name? The character
Bruce.
He definitely has Dick Grayson hair. And
You-
I like
you
that.
love that.
And he could be the another Asian Dick Grayson.
I would. Did we talk about this? I would make Dick Grayson Asian.
We talked about that for something else we're talking about.
Okay, good. You're right. Yeah. Okay.
Dick Grayson.
Wow.
Perfect. Wow.
You're not good tonight.
You should have come out to eat with us.
Yeah, you're a
You would've
bad
been-
person.
Yeah, no, I'm a terrible, horrible human being.
No, you're not horrible. Just terrible.
Oh, okay.
You're a terrible, horrible bowler.
One other thing that I really kind of mark out for, and I know we've talked about this a lot, Mars, is I think that Can did an amazing job of showing the spatial awareness of what was going on, because
Yeah.
there's one scene where all of a sudden Holly is she's outside and there's a street light, but I knew exactly where she were. It cut to that, but I knew exactly where she was. I'm sorry. There was one scene where Tim wakes up outside, and I immediately knew where he was because
Right.
it had that street light that was shown prominently in another scene. So there's just, when you can establish the setting, it really pays off, because in that scene
Even in
specifically,
his
you knew where
mother's
he
house,
was.
even her mother's house.
Yeah.
When they do kind of the like Insidious 2 thing.
Yep.
You know where she is versus how you would took the quick tour of that house before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that was actually brilliant. I wouldn't have ever thought of that if you hadn't brought it up, Wolfie, because you follow her from her bedroom to where this is happening. So, like, when you're there later in segments, you know where all these places are. So, yeah, I disagree. Like, I just feel like...
Fucking love this scene. I can't tell you what's going on.
I feel like it's very...
This is the scene to wait for, gang. So
This is the scene to wait for at the
I
end.
feel like it's very lazy to just say that this film like doesn't do anything, because I feel like it's really cohesive. It does. I mean, it is dreamlike, but they even build it into the fucking logic of the film as opposed to just willy nilly like a Beyond or a Suspiria. You know what I mean? So yeah, I just don't. But there's something that it's not even like. I couldn't talk, folks. This isn't the Babadook all over again. I couldn't talk about this if we were doing this. If the spoiler music played right now, I wouldn't know how to unpack this.
Right.
So, it's like definitely like this movie is both way more linear than that review that Wolfie read a second ago, or other people may give it credit for. But there's something. I hate to use the word confounding because it's not the word I'm trying to use. There's something that just, I don't know. There's stuff that doesn't work, and then there's stuff that's an interesting way to handle things. And I think that those two things together make it a little bit of a tough pill to swallow.
But there's also, like, for instance, I've mentioned this many times on the show before. One of my favorite, if not my favorite all-time movie is 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Right.
And I could not, I cannot synopsize that or tell you what that movie is about in like, if you gave me 30 seconds, I couldn't do it. Right. And I love going back and rewatching it and seeing what I find new and what connections I can make. And I think that this might be, once again, I'm not comparing this to 2001, Christ, but I do think that there is something to that, where this is a film where you need to sort of take it all in, watch it again. You might find some things that you didn't notice the first time. And yeah, this, even just the last 20 minutes of this movie just gets so fucking crazy that I was just like, what the fuck? I was like, I can't even really explain. There's so much that happens. It's so like intense, And there's the only thing I'll say about the ending is there's a combination of kids laughing and horrifying stuff going on screen, and it's just this really off-putting moment,
which also attributes to Italian cinema as well, especially to the more hardcore stuff.
Yeah. So it's funny. The more we talk about this, and the more we have it on in studio, I'm actually starting to gain a little bit more about how the pieces fit together. But we've already talked enough about it, and so I want to sort of move on and get to the verdict, and it is pretty late. So it's fucking midnight 30 right now. So we need to wrap
My
up.
My phone just died.
We'll plug it in.
I don't know if that's what happened. It was pretty full, so I just dropped dead.
Drop dead. All right, so I guess we let's do the verdict on this one.
Trick or treat, baby. I wonder if people would say you're a trick or a treat.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
All right, it is verdict time. We'll let you know whether this flick is a trick or a treat. Any final thoughts we may have? Raven Chat.
This flicks like this, I don't really have a track record of them working for me. I'm sure they're fine. They're just not for me. I will say, though, I was engaged in this, and I think a lot of it really had to do, not only some of the visual and the directing things, but the actress. She was fucking fearless. And I think we can use that word. There's some things, maybe she just put herself in some situations, that she had to do, and she definitely, spends a lot of time, nude. And it's not like gratuitous. It's as things are happening to her in various scenarios, various sinks. She does a lot, and it really hinges on her. I found her fascinating. I thought she was beautiful, and I thought she was stellar. It's a lot going on here, man. I'm on the verge of my verdict. I will say a tepid treat.
All right.
For me.
All right. Aries.
Not trying to say my opinion is correct, but as I stated before, I didn't get this movie. Typically, this style of movie is not my...
It's not your bag?
Yeah, not my bag, not my cup of tea.
Cup of whiskey.
I don't...
It's your, like, Clontarf. Right?
Yeah, I just... lean back. Keep your mouth shut. No, this isn't what I'm into. If I didn't remotely get it on a first watch, I'm not at all interested in rewatching. So I'm gonna say trick.
All right, MZ.
Yeah, this is a very slow burn film. The last 20-25 minutes are just about as in your face as you could possibly get. Wonderfully acted. Great gore. All really no CGI at all, which is a nice big bonus. And there's a lot of layers. There's a lot of things going on in this movie that you're not gonna get. I didn't get it. A lot I did, a lot I didn't. This is a movie that does require at least more than one viewing. Mm-hmm. And even then, it's still going to take some thinking to absorb it all and try to figure out just what the hell this movie is trying to say. That said, this is a treat. I did enjoy it. Even if I was to not see this movie again and try to decipher what's going on here, I would still give it a treat just for its sheer bizarreness and its ballsy attitude towards the conventional. So this is a treat. I did enjoy it, and I recommend you take a look at it as well.
Marsman.
So you might be confused of me saying like that there's parts of this that don't work for me because I can't, or I don't know if they work for me, I guess, because I can't really talk about them. But this is I did enjoy watching this through its thing, and I have a fucking box-worthy review that I'm gonna have to like a capsule review that I'm gonna have to tell these guys about off air because it kind of spoils something.
Yeah,
but
I think we're watching it right now.
But I enjoyed this. I may love this. I'm sure I will not ever hate it. But there's some, I don't know what I think. But if we got two things, and I guess it's either a trick or a treat, and I'd say that this is a treat.
Yeah, it's funny. I kind of felt similarly when the movie ended. I did watch this a little bit late, so I didn't really stay up for a while after watching it. So I feel that I wasn't able to completely let it marinate and sit around and think about what it made me feel. But the more I think, I have been thinking about this movie a lot though since then. And right after watching it, I wasn't sure. And I will readily admit I am an unabashed fan of Can Evrenol, mostly because of how amazing Baskin was, and also how cool he's been to us. Like I try not to let that seep into my opinion of a film, and it doesn't change my opinion of this film. But I really want to fucking like this guy because he's such a cool guy. He's got he would totally fit in. Like he has the same knowledge and the same things that we're into. He is into, and I really like him, and I really think he's an awesome dude from what we know of him. And so, having said that, I think while I may not have liked this movie as much as Baskin, this is a different movie, and he really pushed himself on this and tried something completely different. And I really applaud that. And the look of this film is absolutely gorgeous. He nails the look. He nails the ambience, the feel. The score was great. Like everything about this movie is so well done. I like the acting.
Work.
Yeah, the camera work. I love the acting. So technically, this movie is incredibly well done, and the imagery is just so good. And because it does have a lot to do with dreams, I feel that he was able to sort of turn it up to 11 in some spots because of that. And there's a lot that I still don't quite know, like how all the pieces fit together. I feel like it's coming together a little bit more, like after sort of having it on here in the studio for a second time, and I will watch this again probably soon. And I feel like I do have a better understanding of it. And I do like movies that challenge. I like movies that challenge me. And, granted, I'll see some movies that challenge me that I don't like. But this was one that I really did enjoy, but also is challenging. So I want to go back and watch it again. I want other people to see this. I want to discuss this with people. And I feel like we were able to have a good discussion about it and helped me to sort of further the way I think about it. So, no, I really enjoy this movie, and I recall when it was our boy Dane saw this at a film fest in Australia, and he said it was the best movie he had seen, I think, of the year.
Wow!
So I remember Dane really loving this. So I don't know. Hopefully Dane hears this, but if so, Dane, I would love to hear a little bit more of a detailed review if you recall about what you dug about this, but. I think Can Evrenol takes his influences. He definitely wears them on his sleeve in this, but does so in a different way that feels original and wholly unique to him. And I love that. I love that about a director, seeing them sort of grow and I think that this, like I said, I may not like it as much as Baskin. This is a big step forward for him as a director. So. Hats off to Can Evrenol, and if you guys want to check out Housewife, it is now available on VOD, and I believe it's also on DVD and Blu-ray.
Johnny, what's your verdict?
I didn't say treat?
No. I don't think so.
Treat. There you go. It's a big treat for me.
It's official. Yeah.
So it is official. So you guys can find this VOD, I believe also DVD, Blu-ray, and we'll obviously post links to it on the website. And you guys can check it out. I'd love to hear what other people think about this, because this is definitely one that's people are going to love, people are going to hate. And so I don't think there's going to be too many people in the middle. So I'd love to get some more thoughts on this. But Well, that is it for our discussion about Housewife. And next week, so I was thinking about moving Molly up to next week, but I do think since we do have a new film from Jeremy Saulnier, and it is available on Netflix, I would like to talk about that one because a lot of people have been talking about Hold the Dark, and I think it's going to be a good film to discuss. So we are going to do the Netflix original Hold the Dark from director Jeremy Saulnier, who did Green Room, he did Blue Ruin, Monster Party.
Nice.
So really looking forward to this. This guy has definitely put himself at the top of the list of great young directors, and especially for films that we've done, he's definitely got to be near the top. So really looking forward to checking this out. Hold the Dark. It is available on Netflix, and just so you guys know, it's a little on the long side, 2 hours 5 minutes. So anyone out there at home watching, make sure you carve enough time out. But that's what we're doing next week. So that is it for the film discussion. We have a few voicemail to get to, and then we're going to wrap up because it's getting late.
Yeah, we got to go.
No, we're not going to go right now.
No, we should hurry up.
I did miss a voicemail last week, so I apologize to our buddy Pabst, but actually Dynamo gets to hear it. So Dynamo, put your headphones on. You got to hear your son. Or are you mad at him still? Oh, he gave the thumbs down. You're mad at his son.
Have fun at Suspiria, you little prick.
Oh, that's why you're mad.
I'm going to be fucking singing my
balls off?
Yeah, didn't die almost another.
He's going to see Suspiria and House of the Devil.
Yeah, fine.
Instead of seeing the Deadites.
It's not like I got blue.
Well, you know what? It's honestly not his fault. We know why, because we weren't able to talk about the show until a certain amount of time when other stuff had been announced. So, all right, let's hear from Pabst.
Hey guys, it's Paps. Just calling in this week. I did not get a chance to watch the movie you guys are watching this week, Ghost Stories, but I am looking forward to watching it hopefully this coming weekend or sometime soon. But what I did watch over the weekend was Horror House LLC, and I actually really liked it. I thought it was pretty good.
Oh, nice.
It had some really good scares in it. I thought it was decently well acted. Parts of it were a little bit jumbled sometimes, just kind of in terms of kind of switching between the footage from the horror house company and the people who are making the documentary. But I mean, other than that, I feel like the ending could have maybe been a little bit stronger, but it was still really, really solid. And as found footage movies go, I thought it was pretty good. And I have two questions for you this week. This first one has to do with this, and I wanted to ask you first, what is your favorite found footage movie? So yeah, fucking pause it now or answer both at the end. My next thing that I want to talk about is...
I need some time to think about it, so I'm going to let the rest of the other question run.
Over the weekend, I got Bloodborne, the PS4 game, and holy fucking shit, I love this game. This game is so punishing, so fucking hard, and insanely stressful, but despite it, I actually find it really fun. I think it looks so cool. I think the monsters in it are fucking awesome. They're super duper like Lovecraftian meets just like weird fucked up medieval. Like, oh man, I just think it's awesome and I really love it. And I wanted to ask you guys for my second question, what is your favorite horror media that isn't a movie? So whether it's a video game, a board game, maybe a TV show, music, like maybe an album that's like based around a horror movie or spooky story or something, comic book, just what's your favorite horror, piece of media specifically that isn't a movie? All right. I am looking forward to listening tonight and seeing what you guys think about Ghost Stories. And I'll be in the chat, and peace.
All right, Pap. So I apologize we didn't play that last week, but we got to it this week. So 2 questions. Favorite found footage film and favorite horror media that is not film. So let's do found footage. Anyone have one that comes to mind? This is a tough one.
It's easy for me, actually.
Yeah?
It is... Well, MZ died.
Did he fall?
I think.
Okay.
It is the Mo Brothers and Giraffe Evans segment.
Did you fall?
From VHS to Safe Haven.
Did you fall up the stairs?
No jitterbug for you.
You all right, dude?
Jada thud.
Where did you? Do you have break anything?
No. How's your hip?
Need some Metamucil? What'd you do? You scrape your knee?
Yeah.
Oh.
Not my knee, my shin.
Oh, that sucks, dude.
Shin Godzilla.
Shin Godzilla.
Shin Nakamura. We look at the studio rumbled.
All right, anyone else got an answer while MZ just fucking marinates in pain?
Well, he Peter Griffin's us over here.
It's true. Everybody totally no-sold me because they think you could go at any time.
I mean, I don't know.
That's a great one, though, Mars. Safe Haven.
I'm exhausted, so I'm going top 40.
Just fucking pick one. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
No, well, you know, I like the Chronicle, the found footage with the superpowers.
Great one.
I liked The Chronicle.
No, Chronicle. Yeah, we had Michael B. Jordan. I think it.
The news program, the Chronicle.
Yes, yeah, Channel 5, Boston. But no, I think it dealt with found footage and having the kids are exposed to telekinetic powers from an alien meteorite, and I love telekinesis, and them having that ability gave them a way to like give different camera angles, and I thought it was good.
Yeah, it was like a Starbrand movie. I liked it.
Yeah, Chronicle.
Okay. Anyone else got one? MZ's in pain.
Rescued 911 with Shatner.
What are we doing?
Favorite found footage film.
Favorite falling up the stairs.
Oh,
Oh my God!
Are you sure you're okay? Do we need to call a doctor?
I'm hurting, man.
Did you scrape it or hit it? Or both?
Did you fall down the stairs?
I scraped it on the stair as I was going up. Oh God, it fucking hurts. So like the corner of the step, just like
I feel bad laughing, but the way you say it,
I don't feel bad laughing.
I do feel bad laughing.
You want some whiskey?
no.
It's a toss-up for me. I have two on the top of.
Just fucking pick one.
Good one, Pop.
Well, someone else might pick the other one, so I'll go with Troll Hunter.
Good one.
I don't know if it's my favorite, but it's one that I really, really enjoy. MZ, Aries.
I'm sorry.
The night MZ fell up the stairs.
I'm not overly fond of found footage movies, but I'd probably have to go with Record.
Okay, that was going to be my other one. So yeah.
Me, well, I'd be a bit of a hypocrite if I didn't say Cannibal Holocaust.
I know. I had a feeling that was going to be yours, so I didn't go near it. That actually is, even though there's some despicable shit in that, that's up there for me. I didn't think I was going to love it as much as I did, but yeah, it was really good.
The night, come on, I want to live.
The night Monster Zero fell up the stairs and bruised his knee.
The night Monster Zero fell off the ECW arena.
And the other question was, let's get this one quick. Favorite horror media that's not film?
I think he was looking for a specific horror.
Specific.
Yeah, I wasn't
thing.
sure. Like
Okay.
like the delivery method or an actual item.
Well, sure. Whatever. Go ahead.
Oh, well, fuck myself.
You know what? All right, I'll go. Because season 4 is coming out soon, and I would say I'm just going to go with a TV thing. And I think my favorite horror TV show right now is Channel Zero, and the 4th season is going to drop at the end of October. I think they just released the first episode just to wet people's whistle, but the 4th season is dropping at the end of October on Sci-Fi. So I really love Channel Zero. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but fourth season looks real good. So I'm going to go with that.
I am also going to go television and go Supernatural.
Oh, wow.
I am behind a number of seasons, but I do enjoy that. I feel it's a good mix of sci-fi, horror, and comedy.
Yep. I agree.
All right.
I'm going to go with comics, and specifically some of the Garth Ennis, Steve Dillon Hellblazer run. I think the late great Steve Dillon had a great way of doing. I call it like quiet horror, like just like turn the page and it'd be something really subtle.
Yeah.
Maybe it's someone with a knife in a precarious place, or a look, or something like that. A realization that Constantine may have at times when he's witnessing something terrifying. Yeah, man, I love that run.
All right.
We're talking about shows that are on TV now.
Well, any it can be anything. It can be
Non-horror
TV.
movie.
It could be. It's just your favorite horror media that's not a movie. So it could be TV. It could be a book. It could be a comic. It could be any web comic, whatever.
Wait, horror's on something besides movies?
Wait, what?
Wow.
I mean, it's not pass fail.
No, but it does open up a wide range to think about.
It's 1246.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll just go plain and simple and say Twilight Zone then.
That was yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's fair.
Cool.
I must do that too.
Would you care to elaborate?
Hey, don't. No.
Nah, he doesn't need to.
I'm trying to piss off Raven Shadow.
Thank you.
All right, Paps. Thanks, buddy. And
I didn't answer.
Oh well, go ahead.
It's really hard though, so it was tough to not. But I think that with songs about murder and demonic possession and other things, I would have to go with
the Deadites.
No, though we do have songs about murder.
I know
and
that's
demonic
why.
possession. I would have to go with this features a Deadite, but I love the Evil Streaks album, Talking to the Dead.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Choice.
So it's so invocative of the genres.
Evocative.
Of their, what did I say?
Invocative.
Well, it's not then. It's not vocative. But it's so it definitely it just hits my kind of Tales from the Crypt like horror Sweet Tooth. So I love that record.
All right. Thanks, Pabst. Now moving on. We are going to hear from Arkham Josh.
Hey, Trick or Treat Radio guys. It's Arkham Josh here. Just calling in this week. I really hope you guys all enjoyed the screening of The Ranger. I was hoping to make it up to that, but tonight was a night that I had to work until 6, so it just was not feasible. But I did get to see The Housewife back in August. I haven't been able to refresh myself, but I just wanted to call in because I know that, to me, The Housewife is a definite treat, an indefinite high recommend. It has some amazing visuals, some very interesting storytelling. I obviously don't want to give anything away, but there are some kind of very interesting twists and loops to it. And then the ending is just something that's just fantastic.
Yes.
I'm not sure if I like it as much as I liked Baskin. I think I definitely need to give it a rewatch. It is certainly not as kind of straightforward as Baskin in a way. It's got a little bit more to it. So maybe once I have a chance to give The Housewife a rewatch, it might elevate it to better than Baskin. But right now, it's at least as good as Baskin to me. So, I hope you guys all liked it. I know, you kind of had high hopes. And I can't wait to hear what you guys think of it. All right? You guys have a good one. Bye.
Thanks, Josh. And I'm a little bummed out that he wasn't able to get out to the Ranger screening. It would have been fucking awesome seeing Josh.
I'd hug the shit out of that guy. Do whatever he wanted, actually.
Oh, Jesus.
I don't know. We had a pizza parlor thing. It was
That's
nice.
true, yeah. I almost forgot because we had so much going on. There is a package there.
What could that be?
Aries, would you mind opening that for me? I know you got your got stuff on you. And while he's doing that, let's play another voicemail. Let's see.
I don't have any clothes on. I'm sorry.
Nobody?
I'm just thinking of. I just flash forward into the future.
Oh. All right. Well, let's play this one from. Well, actually, how far is he?
He's pretty close.
He's pretty close.
Dude's got a fucking knife. He has a.
Oh my God! Look at that thing.
Yeah. Should we have him pause?
No, you can keep going. Keep going. Open it and see what's in there.
I'm the king of this city. It's a job.
Am I
that
the
you
one
get
to
down
look,
with
or
me.
should I hand?
No,
this?
no, you look.
I'm gonna take my clothes off. I'm gonna take my clothes off. I'm gonna take my clothes off. I'm gonna take my clothes off.
I already know what this is. How sad is that?
He literally. So it's a package. He picked out the wrapped.
One snowshoe.
One snowshoe. It's an air sharky.
And oh. Corny's getting a big kiss.
Where?
Someone want to hold that up? So
Oh,
the
wow.
So you can see the front.
All right. So, Aries, I didn't want to tell you as a present because you wouldn't have fucking opened it. You would have turned it down. So, Aries may or may not have a birthday coming up. I don't even know. But this is what evil Corny is not so evil.
Because even Klingons have to drink.
That is fucking awesome. That's an amazing flask.
Although to be fair, I believe. Well,
Don't take credit.
I wasn't. Although.
Although, what?
And all our falls on a Wednesday this year.
Huh?
All our birthdays fell on a Wednesday this year.
That's true.
Yep.
Was this your actual birthday, Aries?
That's
You're not
right.
going to tell us. So why do I
Oh,
even ask?
I thought it hadn't even crossed my mind that that's what that was. I would not have even touched that box.
I know. That's why.
Yeah.
It's too late now.
It's not today.
You put whiskey in there.
MZ's going to put juice in it. All right, let's hear from FTM.
What's up, Trick or Treat family? This is First Time Mike. How's everybody doing? I rented Ghost Stories yesterday, and I watched it today. This movie you guys reviewed, it was an interesting movie, very much a blend of, as I've heard other people refer to it, of classic British ghost stories and the Amicus horror anthology films of the 60s and 70s. It also very much got a taste of the some of the slower British horror of like some of the darker Doctor Who episodes and some other of the various horror teleplays from the 70s to even today on British television. It kept my interest through the whole movie, and a lot of times these days some movies can, if they're not going at a certain pace, sometimes I can get bored really quick. But this one kept my interest because there was a sense of the uncanny that kept creeping into it, where as some people telling their story, you expect to see the scarier scenes, but there's just some scenes where the main character is doing something or going somewhere, and it's just like a sound here or a little lingering camera of him watching something there. And there's a scene in the forest, which I'm not going to give away, but that's definitely a sign of, there's something more going on than just him listening to these ghost stories and trying to debunk them. I enjoyed all the actors. Martin Freeman was great. Paul Whiteside was great. I think Paul Nyman is the guy that played the professor, and his character, I'll be blunt, was a self-righteous dick who probably, does he deserve the fate that happens to him? I'm not going to say nothing more, but it's an interesting character study because it's his character that drives the story as much as the strange happenings in the movie. I give it a treat. It's a slow burn in spots, but there's enough uncanny and some good solid scares and visuals that make it worth the effort of watching. I say try to stay away from the trailer because I think the trailer gives away for it a bit too much. And do not watch any movies reviews with the spoilers until after you've seen the movie or listen, because I think part of the fun of watching this movie is getting to the end and then watching it again and noticing all the clues of the ending. But again, I give it a treat. Check it out. And with Halloween this month, I'd like to also recommend, which 31 Days of Halloween with our friend El Goro from the Talk Without Rhythm podcast. You guys might have mentioned it already, but I always enjoy this during Halloween. It's a regular download before I go to work every morning because he usually has it up by midnight. And it's an exploration of from the 30s now to the modern day by the end of the month. And El Goro goes into a lot of movies I have never seen or old favorites I half remember. And he brought up, I'm like, hey, I did see that movie. And always educational. Usually has a great metal song or something from the soundtrack at the end of each episode. It's great. Check him out. El Goro is awesome, as you well know. He's been on the show all the time, so my first time Mike doesn't need to tell you this. Also, again, this is first time Mike closing it out by saying, "Happy Halloween month." Yeah.
Happy Swalloween. That's MZ. Oh, month long. Is that what Goro says?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Goro's we talked about it last week, doing his 31 Days of Halloween. I've listened to the first two. I missed the third one. I was trying to listen to one a day, but maybe I'll play catch up. We'll see. But yes, it was awesome. It's great hearing him talk about all these different flicks. He's going chronologically, which is fun. So he started with a film from the 30s all the way up to present. And first time, Mike, glad you dug Ghost Stories. I'm curious to see what other people think of the film, and I'm glad you liked it. So, all right, next we are going to hear from Justin.
Hey Johnny, this is Justin, calling back to answer your question. And can be 100% honest with you, yeah, you guys have matured as a show. And, the show is better for it. As far as the earlier episodes go, yeah, the sound quality was a little bit on the lower end. But that was mostly due to MZ calling in and Raven Shadow calling in. But once you guys were all...
You mean phoning it in?
Well, that part of that hasn't changed.
Completely together in the studio together, the sound quality went up, and it was great from there, I think. And then once you guys added into doing the live show and having actual your listeners contribute in live, to me that brought out a lot more and was amazing. And that was probably some of the more funny moments came from that. As far as the sound quality, throughout, that has not been as important to me as the content, which has been amazing. I think you're a little bit, overcritical on yourself for your sound quality, personally. Maybe, just relax a little bit. You did a great job, and even the early episodes sound amazing to me, man.
I agree.
Other than that, though, I love the show. It's amazing. I can't wait to hear more. And Raven Shadow, man, I've been asking for those 8x10s for a long time, buddy.
You got it, baby.
All right, you guys have a good night. I'll see you guys later.
Give the contact info to Johnny, and we'll send it
No,
out
don't
for
give it to me. You can fucking mail.
Don't
Give me more responsibility, you
Or
asshole.
do you not know how to mail a letter?
No, he does. He used to work in the mailroom.
Yeah.
I feel bad. I feel like he had a question.
Well, you
for me
missed last week,
and I missed it.
You did, yeah. He actually asked. He asked a question for everyone. For you and I, it was a combined question, and he busted our balls too, which was kind of awesome, all of us. But he busted our balls and saying, "He's like, you guys did Journey to the West. Why didn't you do the fucking sequel?" I didn't know there was a sequel. Did you, Mars?
No.
So I think we may do that if there's an opportunity. It wasn't directed by Stephen Chow, but it was directed by Tsui Hark.
No, you know what I think I did? I thought it was just another one.
Right, because there is a lot of versions of
that,
but it's called Journey to the West 2, The Demons Strike Back or something like that. So yeah, I'm curious, and I think we may very well do that some point if there's an opening where it makes sense. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But and Justin also said, Mars, just to refresh, he listened to every single episode.
Okay. Yeah, he was keeping me kind of abreast.
Okay, I wasn't sure. Okay. So that's why I was just
fucking blown away.
Yeah, me too. And he did it in like 7 months.
What the fuck?
Which is insane.
Tiny and I were talking about it quite a bit the other day, and it's just I can't even believe it. I don't like I was here and I didn't want to.
Yeah. And in the chat room, we just have a couple comments. Creepy Girl says, "Good night, everyone. Smoochy boochies. I'll have to PM one of you later. I have questions and I can't ask here because of spoilers." And she said one last thing. The only thing I really didn't understand was the title. I guess she's talking about Housewife. I think it makes sense.
But she was one.
Yeah, I get it.
Because husband would be weird.
Well, I mean, typically Housewife. Well, I don't know. We're not getting into it. And then Bradley says, "Haven't watched Baskin yet, but might have to check this out first because of your review." Baskin is fucking crazy, Brad. I don't know what sort of stuff you're into, but like it is full on like balls out sort of. Would you guys say probably closer to Fulci of any of the Italian directors?
I say Fulci, Bava, and Baca.
Yeah, it is definitely a kind of three-headed monster of all of them. But yeah, Housewife was also fun too. So definitely check out Can Evrenol's work. And we got one more voicemail. This is from someone we haven't heard from in a while. We're supposed to sing along?
Raven Shadow, I need you to go to the chimney, and while I do that song, I want you to pop out slowly from the top, okay? I'll do the doo-doo. Once I do that, you're going to pop out of the chimney, okay? Are you ready, Raven Shadow? Raven Shadow, go to the chimney. Oh my God. Is he going to the chimney?
Yeah.
I'm not doing the bit won't work if you don't go to the chimney, Raven Shadow. Please go.
Go to the chimney, okay?
Okay, fine.
All right, he's going.
Forget the chimney.
Oh, okay. Forget it.
Go underneath the table.
Under the table.
And when I go, doo-doo-doo, you just pop your head up slowly, okay? Are you ready?
I don't know if I want to do that.
This bit's gonna be awesome. Okay, let's do this. Okay, ready?
All right, let's do it.
Doo-doo.
Are you not doing it, Raven Shadow? Yeah.
Oh, you look just like her.
Everyone. Dude, this movie, I swear to God, I'm watching the movie, and then 5 seconds later, that fucking song comes out like fucking 5 seconds. Every 5 seconds, it's like, am I watching the movie or am I listening to the score? What is it? Pick one, Dario. Fuck. These horror movies, I swear to God, like, I can't do them. Wolfie, I can't do them, man.
You got it, buddy.
You know, like, if I want horror, I'll go drive into Lawrence. I'm kidding, guys. I'm kidding. Raven Shadow, shut your cock.
What? Hey.
Oh, I missed him.
Please come back all the time. Please, if you come back all the time, Mr. Head Scratch, I will never complain about anything.
What was the name everyone knew him most as? Gene? Gene Siskel's balding head?
Gene Spalding's.
Spalding's
balding head scratch.
From Lowell, our buddy from Lowell.
Nice.
He's not really from Lowell, but
no,
maybe he is.
He has the greatest. Like, I think that if I ever died from laughing at anything, it would be from that fucking twisted note and Take These Broken Wings.
Oh my God! If I hear that song on the radio, I fucking lose it.
Yeah.
We haven't played that in a while. I gotta find it now.
I'll fucking pee right here. I don't even know if Aries knows it. He'll get mad. Aries will fucking bend a bar with his hate.
He's leaving. Why is he leaving? was going to play some for you.
Bears driving. Big American Party.
Find it. Where the fuck is it?
Take these broken wings. Take these broken wings.
Beautiful.
Take these broken wings.
I love it.
Take these broken wings.
Even he knows it too.
Oh, welcome back, buddy. Aries is mad he put his headphones on for that.
A little.
All right. Well, I think that's it for voicemail. Let me just double check. Holy shit, it's after 1.
We gotta go.
Holy shit. Holy shit, that's what happens when we start late. We did get some tweets I wanted to read. Let's see if I can do them quick. Oh, I'm probably not going to be able to find them because Patsy tagged us in something, and there was like a whole thread of stuff. Oh, it was from Andy Nyman, the director of Ghost Stories, tweeted at us. And he says, "Hi, guys. Thanks for the fantastic Ghost Stories review. For your info, the stacking you talk about, you guys remember the stacking? Mm-hmm. That was in the kids' room where the things stacked up. Yep. So he said that's 100% practical effect. Happens every night on stage. And he says it's back in London in the spring. Ghost Stories UK. Come and see it. I'd love to. I seriously would love to see that on stage. Yeah. But
out there?
Yeah, exactly. But thank you to Andy Nyman for at least checking out the review. I mean, God, we're sorry, dude, but we appreciate it. And also, we heard from someone else we haven't heard from in a while, and that was our good friend Pantaphobe. Pantaphobe says, after all the nudity, I figured Raven Shadow's favorite part of Mandy would have been when Cage picked up that cigarette from the ground.
That's pretty good. Yeah, yeah. But hard to beat doing the whole coke in the that scene.
And she also says, I have no idea how both of those guys missed the Cheddar Goblin. That's like watching Titanic and not seeing it hit the iceberg.
Wait, that's what happened?
Spoiler.
God damn it.
I hope that we are going to see her shortly.
Yeah. I hope so, yeah.
Yeah, you coming to nice. You coming to the what do you call it?
To the show.
She makes me so happy when I see her at the shows.
And she's like Skip's muse. He's used her in a lot of his films. Yeah, she's awesome. So hopefully we do get to see Pantaphobe. And all right, well, let's fucking end this shit because it is late, and I'm gonna be here till like 4 a.m. tonight. So
it'll make you feel better. I'll be in my bed naked watching New Japan.
That doesn't make me feel better at all.
Thinking about Kenny Omega.
New Japan.
Having a 3-way dance with Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi.
And Cody.
I wouldn't kick him out of bed for eating crackers, but
you kick him out of bed for something else?
No.
All right, MZ, say goodbye.
All right, but it's douchebags.
Aries.
Goodbye.
Raven Shadow.
Live fast, love hard, die with your mask on.
Mars Man.
Nice.
Jesus, Aries.
This is why we can't have nice things. Yeah. Remember, children, wherever you go, they fucking are.
All right, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to episode 323 of Trick or Treat Radio. Big thanks to Skip Shea for dropping by and for also putting on a fucking awesome film festival.
Right.
And also to our new friend, Jimmy Gonzalez. Thank you. And next week, we're going to talk about Hold the Dark and maybe some other stuff. Join us next week. See ya.